link. We tried to replicate all the snafus that you're used to in the Bond community over these many months. So of course we had to be late and we had to change up the link. No, that was an accident, and we're sorry, but we're so glad that you could join us today. And I know that there's going to be a few people that are going to have a little trouble finding us now because we posted this link everywhere. If some people could do me a favor and maybe post on Instagram the new link, that would be amazing. You assume for every issue, but of course you can't know every issue. But welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Today, for a few hours, you are going to be an operative. Yes, you are. And as an operative, I want to give you your mission brief because it's really important, first of all, to know, can everybody hear me? If everybody can give me a yes, I can hear you, David, we're going to be famous today. We're going to do really well. But outside of that, I want to go over a little bit about what you can expect today on this live stream. First of all, we're going to have many of the things that you're used to with James Bond. We're going to have cocktails. We're going to be looking at props, and we're going to be looking at gadgets. We're going to be looking at books by some guy named Ian Fleming. We're also going to be looking at style, and we're going to be looking at villains. In addition to that, we're going to have a little bit of interrogation and maybe get some answers out of people. And then most of all, we're going to be hearing from the Bond community. And I'll tell you what, it's not going to be easy today. You already saw it in the snafu with the link. In fact, it could be dangerous. As much as you're staying at home, this is a true mission. Operation Stay at Home is not without its pitfalls. So I need to set up a safe word for everybody, okay? If you ever feel in danger, if you feel like it's too much, the safe word is mango. Write it down if you need to. The safe word is mango. All right. Now we got that out of the way. Let's talk about why. Why are we doing this live stream today? Well, many of us might have been in London or different parts of the world getting ready to celebrate No Time to Die. And I was ready to think about how to roll this out. And I thought, oh, you know what? It's so nice that everybody could join. I mean, you had choices today, but we really didn't have choices today. Chances are everybody is in isolation, but should that really stop us from celebrating? I mean, right now, and here's a little bit of housekeeping, right over here, you've got a scrolling chat room with hopefully 100 or 200 of your closest friends. Chat with them. There's probably a lot of people you recognize, and probably by the time this is done, you're going to get to know them a little bit better. And that's the one thing I want to implore everybody. I could sit here didactically and show you different things and go over different things for a few hours. That's not going to be the excitement. You are the secret ingredient today. You're going to be able to play along with certain aspects. You're going to be able to chat to each other. You're going to be able to interrogate and ask questions. Truly, you guys, as usual, the Bond community is the secret ingredient to this live stream. All right. In addition to that, this is about an escape. It's a few hours of not having to listen to a news report. So here's something we're not going to do. We're not going to talk about the science of COVID-19. Well, we're not going to be talking about the politics. We're not going to be talking about any of those aspects. We're just not going to. At least it's not going to come out of my voice. No, this is about really creating an experience. And that's the other thing that you saw right in the beginning. This is a little bit different than a normal live stream. This is not going to be me sitting still talking. We're going to be moving around. We're going to have action-oriented things. The last third of this live stream is the best part of the live stream, I promise you. And I don't want to give anything else away and towards the latter part. So let's get underway. I promised you something fun. I promised you all something that you could contribute to. And there has been a huge contribution to this live stream. We had a message go out to the different brands, the brands of Bond, if you will. And I think a lot of you know from a marketing standpoint, they too have been paused. There wasn't one person, whether it's the actors or Eon or MGM or Universal or the brands of Bond, that weren't disappointed with the news. It was the right move to make. But of course, you can still be disappointed. So we reached out and we said, you know something, we're going to have some of our close friends from the Bond community on a live stream. Would you like to participate and maybe give some door prizes to us as part of the trivia contest? And boy, did they. So let's talk about those trivia contests, because here's how the trivia is going to work. Now, pay attention, 007. This is the big one. The way the trivia is going to be is I'm going to be walking around different parts of my collection. And now and then, I'm going to come upon a brand, a little brand flag. It's almost like a scavenger hunt. When I do that, there'll be an aha moment. We'll stop the video. Well, we won't really stop. I'll stop talking, and I'll read you a trivia question. The first person, and this is all about like James Bond, this is about speed and accuracy. The first person to answer it correctly and quickly is the winner of that prize. Now, I'm going to be telling you about the prize ahead of time. I will ask you a favor, and I'm asking you a favor. I'm begging you a favor. If you own this prize already, don't play that game. There'll be plenty of other trivia prizes that you can win. Let somebody else who maybe wouldn't have the opportunity to have this item have a chance at this, okay? Now, I can't see everything that you're doing right now. That's just going to be the nature of this live stream. So I've implored a very close friend of mine. A lot of you know him as Dressing Like Bond on Instagram. I know him as Harris Thomas. And you're going to notice that Harris Thomas, if he could speak up or say something, or here I am, is known as the Sheriff Pepper of the Bond community. Don't ask me why. He's not he's a Southerner, but that's really where it stops. But he is actually going to be our trivia police. He's going to call who the winner is and highlight that individual. And once we have a winner, we'll move on. That's how the trivia is going to work today. So if you have an argument about the winner, you should definitely get in touch with Harris Thomas on his Instagram, Dressing Like Bond. I hope I've made myself perfectly clear. Okay, here we go, everybody. We're going to start. In fact, to kick this live stream off, we are going to have our first trivia. In fact, I'm wearing it right now. This is a new safari jacket from Mason & Sons. Now, Mason & Sons, you may know David and Elliot Mason, tailors extraordinaire. They've revived a lot of the new Bond brands. But in addition to that, they've come out today with a whole new safari or field jacket line. I'm wearing this right now. This is a little bit different than the other ones. This is in a sand colored. It's very much like the Roger Moore versions that you see in Octopussy and The Man with the Golden Gun. I'm going to do a full video review, so I'm not going to do that now. But it's interesting because it's a linen and a lysosol. What the hell is lysosol? Lysosol is some sustainable, natural, pulpy material that just feels really soft. Anyway, first trivia question is for this jacket. What's going to happen is the winner is going to get a secret code, and then Mason & Sons will get in touch with you, get one in your size. And here's the great thing about all these trivia prizes today. They are going to be shipped directly to your home. You don't have to get off the couch. Well, maybe answer the doorbell. But when the prize comes, it's coming directly to you in your own size. So here we go. First trivia question. Everybody ready? Get your fingers ready. Here we go. For this safari jacket from Mason & Sons. Dr. Kaufman. Dr. Kaufman is a doctor of what? I'll repeat it. Dr. Kaufman is a doctor of what? Now, Sheriff Pepper, Harris Thomas is going to let our operations manager know when we have a winner, and I will move on. But here's the reality. I need people like Harris today because there's a lot of technology around this. There's a lot of things happening. So I would like to introduce you to my other friend and comrade, my co-host for today, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Joe Darlington from Being James Bond. Joe, welcome to the show. Did I wake you up?
What are you doing in my house, David? I didn't know I was going to be here today. I thought I was going to just relax in my robe and watch the live stream.
Joe, when I told you to not dress for the occasion, I didn't think you were going to not dress so much for the occasion.
Yeah, sorry about that. I took it to the extreme, didn't I?
You knew the live stream was today, right?
Yeah, I did.
All right. By the way, Joe, do we have a winner yet? Because the answer, I'd like to read the answer if we do have a winner. We probably do. But the answer,
I do. I do.
okay, we have an answer. And the answer is forensics. Dr. Kaufman is the doctor of forensics.
I
And
have a winner from our man in the field.
yes.
The winner is Bill Bokunik.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we know Bill Bakunik very well. Bill, you'll get a lot of use of this in Florida, no doubt. So let's move on. We got to make sure that we don't know everybody that wins these prizes. But good, he was fastest on the trigger and the finger, and that's how these trivia things are going to roll. There's a lot more to come. Joe, first of all, I want to thank Joe because Joe is literally not only he's at home for safety reasons and because we're all self-isolating. It's the right thing to do, and we decided, listen, it's not worth it for you to come here and play with me today. Ugh, that sounded terrible. Put the kids away, folks. It's going to get worse. But Joe is also running operations because we're taking this live stream to the next level. So, Joe, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's the least I can do for this spectacular community who joined us today. And by the way, you said in your opening, you said that people would be joined by possibly 200 of yeah. We're going on 562 people joining us on the live stream today.
Do me a favor. Don't tell me how many people are on. It gets me all wiggy. It gets me all wiggy. All right. I'm taking off my Mason and Sons jacket because I don't want to get any stains on it because Mr. Darlington, who is also known as the Willy Wonka of James Bond cocktails or the Mr. Rogers of James Bond cocktails, has agreed to kick off this live stream with a certain libation that we could all enjoy. And Joe, what are we making today?
What are we doing today? We are doing what we have humbly called the 007 Quarantini.
I love it. The Quarantini. We're all quarantined. So we all love martini. So we're gonna do the Quarantini. All right. And by the way, you all out there, if you're not drinking an adult libation, that's totally fine. If you're drinking something, maybe start listing it in your chat stream right now. What you're imbibing. I know for some people it's early in the morning. For some people it's late at night. But Joe, you're going to be my Sherpa. Talk me through this.
All right, very good. And we did try to focus on ingredients that you might very well just have in your home. So it is reasonably possible people could do this. So, all right, David, what you're going to do is grab your favorite vodka.
Tito's.
All right, always with the Tito's.
Tito's. Yep.
I think somebody bought you that bottle, possibly, unless you already went through it. So how about this? Ice your cocktail glass. You have ice handy?
I do. Hold on.
Okay.
One second. I know I'm off screen.
Quite all right.
All right, here we go.
All right, perfect. Beautiful. Now, you can just set that aside.
All right.
All right. So grab your shaker and grab your, do you have a measurer? He's good. So how about let's do 3 ounces of vodka. 3 ounces of your favorite Tito's.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. And you can put that into your shaker, not the glass. Yep.
Done.
All right. Was that 3 ounces?
No.
Yeah.
That's 3 ounces.
There we go.
We've stopped measuring already.
And pour that into your shaker.
All right. Yeah, I did. It's
okay,
in. It's in.
All right. So how about 1 ounce of orange juice? Because we love the vitamin C in the orange juice. Lord knows we got to stay healthy.
All right, and I'm mixing it up a little bit because I really am trying to keep that virus away from me. So instead of orange juice, I do have carrot juice. Is that okay?
Well, this is going to get interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Okay.
Okay.
All right. A little extra for good measure. Do you have a lemon handy?
I do have a lemon handy. My gosh, I actually have a lemon handy.
Alrighty. All right. So it's already a piece. Squeeze that bad boy into your shaker.
Done.
Love it. All right, cool. Alrighty. I think you're pretty much good to go. Why don't we cover the shaker? Oh, put some ice in the shaker.
Okay.
That's actually a very good way to do that. You know that.
Well, I figured I've got
You're
that
gonna empty
ice.
it anyway.
So.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's genius, frankly.
Do I start shaking this
Start
puppy?
shaking that sucker. There you go. Just like on Bar Rescue when they tell them you have to smile when you're shaking. I don't know.
It's really hard and it's really cold. Hold on. By the way, I got to show you this tea towel that I'm using.
Nice.
Hold on.
Nice.
That's a tea towel so I can hold a really cold shaker.
There you go. Go nuts.
I'm exhausted already. Is that a problem? I'm never going to make it through 3 hours.
See, not only are you getting your healthy cocktail and your vitamins, you're getting your exercise.
If anybody screen grabs this, me making a face, I'm going to be really upset.
All right, that should probably do it. I think we can strain it now.
Okay. All right, into the glass.
Right into your glass.
Ooh. Ooh.
Well, that's an interesting looking color there. That's okay. Wow.
Boy, talk about perfect measurements, too.
Huh? Look at that. From far away, we got that perfect. Oh, my goodness. That is stunning. Do we have anything to garnish it? Do we have, oh, he's good. He's good. Do you have
Now, you told me to use an orange, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what should I do? Just cut it like a little...
Do you have a potato peeler? Or actually, you could just throw a good slice in there.
Come on, Joe. Potato peeler. I don't even know what a potato peeler is.
Didn't your mother ever make you peel potatoes?
No, I wasn't like in a prison. Okay, I cut this and this looks
wow, way.
I will tell you that this is not the most James Bond masculine of drinks. I'm actually okay with that.
That's more like the Hoffler Clinic kind of a cocktail.
That is a digestive enzyme. Should I try it?
Yes, sir.
That's not half bad.
Yeah?
I mean, I could learn to like it if I had some time.
All righty. Well, we certainly have the time.
You know what? It's actually really good. I'm going to keep it.
Yeah? Should we show everybody the recipe for that so they can...
Show the recipe.
There you go.
Absolutely.
The 007
and by the way,
martini. I love it.
I love it. Joe, thank you for doing that, kicking that off. Real quick, Joe, what are you drinking today? Are you drinking anything today?
Well, here's a funny story. I actually went out last night after I was finished getting ready for today, and I was going to get a bottle of wine just to relax. And apparently the liquor stores now and all the stores close at 8 p.m. here, unbeknownst to me. So, whoops. Yeah, so I will be drinking coffee and water probably.
So you went through all your alcohol already?
Well, I did probably about 2 Thursdays ago when I kind of did the first initial scramble. I think I bought like 2 bottles of wine and a 6-pack of beer, and I think I probably just finished it all just in the last day or two. So in my defense, it went slowly.
All right. So we're going to have now an intervention with 600 of your closest friends. Yeah. No, that's fine, Joe. I'm gonna take this drink and I'm gonna take it mobile.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think let's go for it.
All right. So one of the things that we decided to do was for this live stream, we really wanted to create an atmosphere that felt like you were coming into my home. I know you're at home. I know you've got slippers. By the way, I've got slippers on too. Uggs. They're so comfortable. Not a sponsor. So you're going to come with me, and I'm going to take you down into my collection. You're going to come traveling, and I apologize for the camera work, but let's see if we can turn this around. All right. I'm going to have drink in hand, and just follow me. Follow me, if you will. Come with me, and you'll see. All right, here we go. So if you were over my house right now, about to party with us, you'd be coming down the stairs with me. And for those of you that have been here before, phenomenal. If not, welcome. So the way everything is set up here is essentially, let me turn this around so I can talk to you. Everything is set up in a chronological way. By the way, this thing is spilling like a mother. This is going to go down way too quick. So now we're in front of the, obviously, Dr. No. My collection basically goes in chronological order. So let's just take a look at some of the things on the table there. You can see some of the parts and the pieces. We've got a nice little tarantula. We've got some of the libations of Bond. We even have some of the background props. I've got some of the things from Lock & Co. that really usher in the second James Bond film. And by the way, you're going to notice that I have a poster associated with every movie. I love the fact that you've got these wonderful posters that capture the moments of James Bond. And of course, an attaché case with gold sovereigns, drinks, rings, etc. All right. Over here, I've got a funny story to tell you. And yes, don't adjust anything. I will adjust the camera. So basically, that is a gold woman over there. And there is handprints on the breast. And the reason there are handprints on the breast is because we had some workmen come in, and until they left, I had no idea. But then suddenly there were fingerprints on the breast. So clearly they were taking pictures. So somewhere there are these amazing construction guys that have pictures standing with that golden woman. You can't make this stuff up. All right. We are here in front of Goldfinger, and you can see some of the Goldfinger things right here, including my wonderful drink, a couple of the props. And what I like to do is I like to mix the props with some of the lifestyle pieces, with some of the wardrobe pieces. So it really starts to blend in nicely. Let's see how well I can take this drink traveling. And Joe, you'll let me know if the stream is still going strong, I'm sure, because right now I'm just on the move.
It's
on
going
the move.
fine. The chat is going great. You're doing good, my friend.
Awesome. So here we are in front of Thunderball. We've got a lot of different aspects over here, which I'm going to kind of get close to a little bit. We've got, again, some of the Voight things. It's the details. For me, it's a lot of the little tiny things that I really enjoy collecting, but it all goes back to those posters, which is a lot of fun. Over here, you'll see my corner of James Bond experience knickknacks that I've done throughout the years. A little dark there for a moment. And then we continue with Sean Connery. Yeah. So if you were to walk around the corner here, hold on. There's my giant head. Let's see if we can turn this around. Perfect. You can see that we're really getting up close and personal. And yes, we even have Sean, poor guy, beheaded inside the astronaut helmet. Actually, that helmet is not COVID-19 approved. So don't even think about it, people. We also have on Her Majesty's Secret Service, George Lazenby. And by the way, George Lazenby, what a resurgence he has had, both as an actor and as Bond. Much thanks to his manager, Anders. The two of them, George and Anders, have created probably one of the most intimate relationships between a Bond and his fans ever, on both social media and in person. Really, I mean, now that unfortunately Sir Roger Moore is gone, he really is that the fans' Bond. So you got to love him for that. Diamonds are forever. I am not going to be singing today, folks. You do not want that. That is how you lose subscribers. But there we go. That cat was not real. I don't want letters from PETA, but you've got obviously some diamonds are forever. And by the way, if I invited you over to the house, this is how we would do it. I would just kind of take you through very quickly, drink in hand. You would take a look at the posters and love that sign. One of my favorite pieces in my entire collection, made by Ed Maggiani, Spy Boys. He's amazing. He's done many of my props. And there you could see a lot of the vintage things as well as new things from, for example, Roger Moore's tie from Benson and Clegg, some of his shavers. It's all there. Now, here's a fun moment. Ready for this? All right. So as you swing over, you can kind of see this collection is pretty much the footprint of my basement. It kind of goes all the way through. So, for example, over here, I usually have the new movie. So we've got No Time to Die over here. No Time to Die, you'll notice that a lot of the things are brand new. A lot of marketing stuff. I happen to like the marketing stuff. And then my drink. My drink keeps showing up. It's like there's 9 of them. What's going on here? But you'll see that, right now it's very heavy from a marketing standpoint. Obviously, a couple things from wardrobe, but that is because it's new and it's not out yet, and it won't be to November. But let's bring happier moments. That's going to be our wonderful backdrop for the day. A little bit of movie magic. And as we move over here, by the way, a little sentry. Besides an alarm, we have this gentleman who pretty much guards the place, so don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. And then we continue with Roger Moore over here. Again, some of my favorite pieces, the Golden Gun from Factory Entertainment, things from the actual Bottoms Up Club. We've got a wonderful mask from Christos, wonderful mask maker. There's a video coming up on him shortly, so I don't want to take any of his thunder out. And then just look at this. All right. If you like Roger Moore, and I do, and I hope you do, this is kind of the Roger Moore area. This is where we have a lot of the props, things like the microfilm, things like stuff signed by Richard Keel, who played Jaws, who unfortunately is no longer with us. Moonraker, if you like Moonraker, some of the guns and the wonderful watches, it's all there. And again, it's a mixture of lifestyle as well as prop and gadget moments. And by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Operative out there, we told you you'd be seeing gadgets and things like that. Carolyn Bouquet, wonderful Bond girl. Yep, I'm going to use that term. Sorry. Bond girl. Met her, spent some time with her at Chateau Relais Chateau. Could you butcher it more, David? At least you know it's me. And she did sign my crossbow. That's not a euphemism. That's an actual crossbow. Don't clown around with COVID-19. Okay, there we go. But we do have Octopussy, and we've got some really cool things with Octopussy. All the wonderful moments that you should keep abreast of. Look what I did there. And we have A View to a Kill, which, my gosh, Joe Darlington and I had to change our address, change our name, redo our fingerprints, because we said we weren't big fans. Guess what? We love it now. All right, leave us alone. Leave us alone. We love it. And then over here, we move on to Pierce Brosnan. Let me turn on a little bit of light. And by the way, this is what I meant by real things happening, people. Here we go. Now we can see the world. So we've got Goldeneye over here, and I'm going to come around. So now if you put the computer screen in front of you and you haven't vomited yet, you're still with us, which is great. Absolutely great. And hold on a second, folks. Everybody stop the phone. I need everybody to put their drinks down. This is important, because as I went over to this Goldeneye device, I'm seeing something here. Hold on a second. This is exactly what I talked about. Here is another company. This is Factory Entertainment, and guess what? That means we have a trivia question. And the winner of the prize, and the prize is a Goldeneye device, your very own, shipped from Factory Entertainment to your house anywhere in the world. That is the winner right there. But Factory Entertainment decided to do one more thing. Everybody's a winner today, because if you put in at the Factory Entertainment website, if you order a James Bond prop and put in stay at home, you will get 25% off of any James Bond prop. Put stay at home and you get 25% off. So if you're looking for that prop and you were looking for savings, there you go. But now we're going to do a trivia question, because somebody is going to win this. So Sheriff Pepper, I got to stop saying that. Harris, I need you to get ready, because I'm going to ask the question and we'll find out who wins this. Okay, here we go. What vehicle comes to the rescue of Bond and Honey after they have escaped from the destruction of Dr. No's lair? I'll read it again. What vehicle comes to rescue Bond and Honey after they have escaped from the destruction of Dr. No's lair? I should say that if you've won a prize already, you can't win another one. And if you have one of these, please let somebody else win it. But let's see those answers come up. As we do that, let's move to Tomorrow Never Dies. This is the Tomorrow Never Dies section, complete with accoutrements. I'm going to stop using that term because I keep using it. The World Is Not Enough is one that's grown recently thanks to Heinrich. Oh my gosh, I'm just butchering his name. Great prop maker. Look at these things. I mean, it looks like I'm in the archives. Just unbelievable. Very, very cool. And Die Another Day. Now, some people do like Die Another Day. So a lot of lifestyle things around Die Another Day. And then this is where the Daniel Craig stuff starts to explode. We've got Casino Royale. All of those items that you see there are screen used, except for Vesper's dress and his bungee smugglers. I've heard from my UK friends, that's what I'm supposed to call them. And as you can see, there's just a few things from Casino Royale. Again, just take you on a quick tour so you can get situated of where you are today. This is my Sophie Harley shrine. I swear, it's turned into like a Sophie Harley shrine. Le Chiffre's actual outfit behind there, that is screen used. And my pride and joy, Daniel Craig's Armani jacket, screen used, Casino Royale. Then we've got Quantum of Solace. I like it. I don't know. I just do. But you've got Dominic Green's outfit. You've got the bad guy's outfits below. Those are all screen used. These are not screen used. These are replicas of Tom Ford and the Y3 Adidas. And just a couple of hand props. Kind of crazy, right? And now we've moved to my favorite films. We just saw it in Toronto. It was great. By the way, Joe, do we have a winner of the trivia contest?
As a matter of fact, we do. And our man in the field, Sheriff Pepper, told me to let you know that we're...
Let me pull back a bit. I might have connection issues.
Okay.
Sorry, come again?
Our man in the field wanted to let you know that he is getting screenshots of the actual winners as they give their answers, so there won't be any...
Okay, well, the answer to that was a Coast Guard boat. That is the vehicle that rescues Bond and Honey. It is a Coast Guard boat. So we'll see who was the first one to do that.
Here I got
and by the way, I'm having a little...
God,
sorry.
The name of the winner, Spy DY...
No, what were you saying, Joe?
I got the name of the winner who guessed the boat was Spy DYR Unlimited.
You have frozen, Joe.
I have?
That's never a good sign.
Okay. You're not hearing me?
I hear you now. Yes.
Oops.
Perfect.
All right. Technical snafus. We love them so much. So I have the name of the nice guy who guessed a boat was Spy DYR Unlimited.
Excellent.
I'm a little
very,
jealous
very
of this
good.
prize,
well,
by the way.
He is going to get that. Yeah, he's going to get the Goldeneye device. I'm almost afraid to move over to this side too much, but there is the Spectre stuff, because I know we're having some connectivity issues, but a few pieces from Spectre. And then you would have seen essentially the collection. So correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. And let me go back and get my drink. Hello again, everyone. Hold on a second. I need some libation. That was thirsty work, but I wanted to welcome you to my home. Because we're spending some time with each other. And I wanted it to be, as did Joe, like you were doing it with us. So that is props and gadgets and collecting. It might not be for everyone, but we do know what is for everyone, and that is the books of James Bond. So, Joe, I am slowly changing my setup here. We'll see if all this practice worked. And what are we talking about now?
We are going to move on to some books. We're going to talk about the Ian Fleming, the books of Ian Fleming. We chose 5 books. Again, we're all stuck inside, wondering what the heck to do with ourselves. So we thought, hey, how about let's get back to the Fleming books, because I think if again, if you guys haven't read the books, if you're if you're a Bond fan, and Lord knows if you're here with us today, you qualify. And you haven't gotten around to the books yet, I highly recommend picking up those original Fleming books. And if you've gone through those, pick up some of the subsequent authors. They're damn good. And again, it's sort of like kind of a must for for Bond fans. And like I said, we chose 5. There's a whole bunch, and the reason why what we were kind of focusing on as we chose these, by the way, we wanted to talk about. We'll talk about the books themselves, but then also how the books and the films differ, similarities and differences. So my first one was that we chose to talk about Casino Royale.
Woohoo!
And I grabbed it.
And by the way,
Good.
I'm putting the Casino Royale in the background here just to give us an extra oomph.
Smart man. So I wanted to show these. These are this is probably literally, honestly, the first book I might have ever even had. If you look at the price tag there, I got it for a whopping 99 cents.
Bargain.
Yeah, this is an oldie. And I kind of, and because I have friends who are kind enough to sort of give me some of their books when they when they're not using them or just want to get rid of them. And then I kind of go a little nutty. I go, well, now that I got one, I got to get the whole collection. But this is I really love these covers. I mean, these covers are really incredible. So Casino Royale, if you've never read it, and I will say this was a funny experience for me because I read this book multiple times before I actually saw the film. So, and it's kind of rare that you get to do that. Especially with Bond. I mean, again, these are books that were written in the 50s and 60s, so obviously I saw all the films before I had ever gotten back to read the books. This was the only time where that was different, where I read the book and read it. Again, I read it a few times. So by the time it actually showed up on the screen, I was pretty, very versed in it. And it's fascinating how, I think if you read the book and if you haven't read it before, I think what will impress you is just, again, how close to the book the movie actually is. I mean, I've been sort of saying this for a while, that, for a book that was written in 1953, the idea that they would actually stick with the story. And I mean, like, not just taking elements, not just grabbing the names and sort of kind of playing around and doing your own thing. I mean, literally, like, they literally stayed with the actual plot. And I think I was probably in my Casino review recently that I mentioned that sometimes the best source material for a film adaptation is oftentimes what they call a novella. Like a big novel can be too cumbersome to try to squeeze into a 2-hour story.
Right.
But a novella, like something that's kind of, just not too thick, not too whatever, perfect. And it's amazing to me how the film will take elements of the novel and sort of just give them a little tweak, to make them a little more cinematic. Sometimes it even works the other way. Again, the plot of the book is more centered around Bond going to his location, meeting his contacts, and eventually sitting down. In the book, it's baccarat. In the film, it's poker, and I think that the change there was very smart. And what's interesting is, like, you'll see things like, for example, there's an attempt on Bond's life in that before the actual game, where in the novel it's like two guys holding they made a bomb out of a camera. So they're just sort of walking around with this camera, and so it's like the first Bond gadget, like that you see.
Yeah, sure.
And but in the film, you could sort of just change that to the whole, other like Miami scene, the action scenes before the actual card game.
Yeah.
There's a scene during the card game where there is an attack on Bond's life. In the novel, someone takes, again, another gadget. They have what is essentially a walking cane, but it's kind of like the what shows up in The World Is Not Enough. Remember Zukowski's cane that has the trigger on the end? Essentially, the same thing appears in this novel. So somebody has a cane, but there's a gun in it, and somebody basically walks up behind James Bond and says, "I've got a gun. You know, it's against the base of your spine." And basically, what happens is you see Bond just sort of shove himself backwards. A little scuffle happens. You know, whatever. Whereas in the film, he's poisoned. Now, you would almost think it would be the other way around, where in the book, Bond was simply poisoned and he had to go over, but in the cinema, we had to make it bigger and make it an action scene. It's actually quite the
Right.
opposite.
Joe, let me ask you a question about that too, because there's a lot of people in the chat room right now that are sometimes they've seen the movies, but they have never read the books, or maybe they've read a couple books. What I've been recommending to friends, because there's been a lot of friends, obviously, that have been quarantined like all of us, this isolation, and they said, "Hey, listen, now's the time I'm going to like beef up on my Bond." And sometimes what I'll say is, "Look, if I can do you a favor, take Casino Royale and take Casino Royale the book and take Casino Royale the movie. Read the book and then watch the movie and have fun with that and have fun with the comparisons." I think there's a lot of younger fans who have raised their hand very honestly and said, "I haven't read the books. Is this one of the movie book kind of connections that you would recommend to them?"
Big time. Yes. You know, I when I was, not so much now because they don't really do it these days, but when I was younger, if I liked a movie, I always picked up the novelization, which was kind of like, you know, basically, you know, right,
Yeah.
you kind of say that and you kind of cringe a little bit.
Star Wars. Yeah.
But sometimes they were very good. I mean, honestly, I'm really going to dork out right now, but you know, the novel First Blood was written by David Morrell before it became the movie First Blood with Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, I really went off the rails there.
You are such a dork.
But actually, when the second film came out, which is obviously much more, Rambo 2 is much more cinematic and it's a big old action adventure film. But they actually brought in David Morrell to write the novelization for the second film. And I kind of like that because I sort of felt like now I'm really kind of getting the thoughts from the actual creator of this character to sort of like take these events and comment on it, etc. So again, it's, you know, so I think when you read the book Casino Royale, you can really think of this as, you know, a companion to the film that you've already seen, and think that this is a more fleshed out. You're getting into the mind of James Bond, the essence of James Bond, and how he's viewing some of these events, etc. And you can, and again, you'll see how it. Like I said, you're reading a book that was written in 1953. Like most people can't even comprehend 1953. You might as well just tell them like 1812. But honestly, it's bizarre just how similar the stories are. Like how and I think you really will look at the film differently and kind of give it even more credit, because you're saying like, wow, they did take this story and do it in a way that it works in a modern world, and we kept the essence.
Yeah, what's another good book to connect on in your library there? I know you got another one hanging out.
So my next one that I wanted to talk about would be Live and Let Die. Again, I have a couple versions of the paperbacks here. Again, I kind of love the different things that people did. But again, boy, do I love these right here. Live and Let Die is another one that is really interesting because again, the comparison between the book and the film, now we're kind of getting into we're past Connery, we're into Roger Moore, and we've kind of gotten to the idea like these films need to be sort of larger than life. But oddly, for a film like Live and Let Die that you would probably, and again, it is so 70s. When you watch Live and Let Die, it is kind of a time capsule, right?
I love that aspect.
There you go, right? it's certainly a time capsule. It's a moment in time, and you can sort of see where society was. Cool,
I mean, that screams
right?
70s. I just had to show that.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of it's part black exploitation. It's part. I mean I've joked before about I feel like I'm watching an old episode of Archie Bunker and the way people are speaking to each other. Um, but again, you're going back to 1954 for source material, and
Yeah.
again, you would think that they totally just destroyed the book and just no. There's a lot here that it's
Yeah.
that and as you read this, by the way, again, assuming you've seen all the Bond films, if you go back and read Live and Let Die, you'll say to yourself, "Boy, this is interesting. Not only am I seeing or reading of things that I saw in the film, but I see inspirations that showed up in For Your Eyes Only. I see inspirations that showed up in License to Kill. So you can see where even the other films kept mining the Fleming books, and this one was so rich in stuff, that they were able to extract a lot of ideas from it.
So I have a question then for you based on what you just said. There's a lot of people that, they're going to be in for the next few weeks and they're contemplating, or maybe they've even started watching the movies. Do you suggest that before they watch a movie, maybe read the book?
Yeah, well, put it this way: if you, let's say I need an excuse to watch Live and Let Die again. Well, maybe your excuse is you picked up the book and you gave it a read, and now you go back and watch it again with fresh eyes. I
Yeah.
One of the little kind of tidbits I get from this as I reread it, by the way, because I did go back and reread all the books after seeing all of the Craig films, and I used to pine. This is the second book, by the way. This is literally the second book after Casino Royale.
Right.
I made this whole pitch back in the day. Boy, I really wish that they followed up Casino Royale with a retelling of Live and Let Die. There's a scene in here where Bond is captured and interrogated by Mr. Big, which you see a variation of in the film, where Teehee grabs his little pinky finger and threatens to snip it off. In the book, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's so much in here that you'll get out of this, even if I tell you little things.
Too late.
I want to whet your appetite to pick it up. In the novel, Bond is sitting there. He's got his pinky finger. Somebody's got it, and they bust his finger. It's not like Roger Moore where they're not going to muss a hair on his head. In the novel, they bust his finger. And like this whole big brawl breaks out. You see Bond is fighting his way down a dark hallway and busts out into the streets of New York where there's a small car chase. I read this and I went, that's Daniel Craig. Like, that is so Daniel Craig. And I was really picturing Daniel Craig doing that. And oh boy, I wish that's what they did.
And not to go backwards, but I think that's what I remember you and I talking about this when Casino Royale came out and they showed that torture scene at the end with him naked sitting on the chair. We were like, hold on a second. This is not your Roger Moore Bond anymore. Like, this guy stripped down and they are whacking the living shit out of his wedding tackle. So I PG'd it up in case there's a kid sitting in the room.
Right from the novel, by the way. Right from the novel.
I
Again,
know.
When you pick
Phenomenal.
them up, you'll say to yourself, wow. Like,
I know.
It's odd how much they actually did stay with the source material.
Yeah. Joe, you got another book?
Certainly do.
You got another book in
you
you?
Want to make your way over to Moonraker.
I think I will.
Once again, as you're moving, I'll show the just a couple of the. I didn't grab all the ones I had, but I wanted to show just a little variety because I do sort of love the different covers, and I am trying to collect all of them. By the way, people always sort of ask me like, so what show us the books that are behind you. Here you go. There's a lot of them. I mean, basically that's a lot of what I do. Plus, I got a lot of the nonfiction Bond stuff to talk on Bond. There we go. He's ready. The man's ready.
All right. So I know the book has all the lasers and tons of starships in it, and people in space and wrist dart guns. It's just like the movie,
Absolutely, right? Like I said, we purposely checked, and this is the third Fleming book, by the way. So basically, we've talked about the first three in a row. And we said we chose certain things based on are they similar, different? Well, this one's about as different as you can get. This one is the film Moonraker is so far removed from the book. I think the only thing it has in common is maybe a scene where Bond and the heroine are actually trapped and put underneath the rocket, and they're going to be killed by the rocket blast, and they have to figure the way out
Yes.
of that. Other than that, you got a villain named Hugo Drax, and yeah, it's a whole different kind of thing, and it's a very interesting read. It's interesting because what is also funny about this is that you will actually see hints of the novel in other films, uh,
Right.
particularly Die Another Day has a lot of influence from Moonraker. Interestingly, and even at one point, the Miranda Frost character was actually rumored to be named Helga Brandt, who is the heroine from this film, from this novel, excuse me. So yeah,
Right.
you could tell that they were. I mean, again, the film Moonraker is so far removed that they could have actually gone back and mined for material, and no one would have noticed. Um, some highlight.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, they took advantage of the fact that it was called
Yeah,
Moonraker. There was a book called Moonraker. They wanted to do a Star Wars movie with James Bond. Let's tie it together and like almost disregard entirely, except for like you said, Drax the character and the whole, under the rocket
yeah.
bit. I will say that this is one of the books that I just read. I just read
Uh,
Moonraker, so it's fresh. And I walked away from it as an older gentleman thinking, it's so strange that Bond was given a mission from
yeah.
M. And I love the interplay between M and Bond here. But to basically catch a guy cheating at cards,
Right.
like that was like his big initial. I mean, he
Yeah.
wound up by mistake finding out other
Yeah.
stuff, but it just blows my mind.
Yeah, it is interesting. And by the way, take about 3 inches to your right. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. Was I
Just a
off?
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is interesting how a simple matter of cheating at cards, but then again, that's kind of like, I mean, when you watch some of the films, I mean, look at A View to a Kill, where the whole initial dust up is because this guy Zorn, they think he's cheating at horse racing, and in the big scheme of things, like, who cares? But it leads to something else, and that's sort of precisely what happens in the novel here. Because M's instinct is not so much that the guy is cheating and I want to catch him because he's a meanie head and he cheats, but rather Hugo Drax is a multimillionaire. Why would this man need to cheat at cards? So it just sort of gives him like a little like something ain't right here, and so it
Yeah.
leads to a bigger thing. And by the way, people again, I said that the novel, you'll see bits of this in Die Another Day in the plot. And interestingly, I think the villain also shares because, I mean, the villain in the novel, he's somebody who is working for the government, essentially, in creating his space program, etc. Yet he's got a background, which is anti, and he wants to get revenge on said government. And people have compared that to Gustav Graves' character from Die Another Day, but I think a more accurate comparison is Alec Trevelyan, who is working for the
Ah,
government, but he doesn't like the government, and he's keeping his cards close to the vest, and he's going to get back at them for an old, he's got an old score to settle. So,
right.
yeah, I think that parallel is also interesting. So it is, again, when you read these books, you'll be the thing that will probably impress you is just how much of the material in one form or another does show up in the films.
All right, give me another book. I'm starting to like this now. I'm getting
All
into
right,
it.
now I'm gonna guess you're gonna have to move not too far across the room, but we're gonna move over to we're gonna talk about On Her Majesty's Secret Service. We're gonna go ahead quite a few years to 1963 to talk about Fleming's what many call his best book. Again, here's a couple. I will show you the covers. I really liked some of these covers. There we go. He's got his display ready. You know, really do enjoy the covers of some of these books.
That one was cool with the
Isn't it?
avalanche.
Like how?
That's super
Seriously.
cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah, this.
Yeah,
I
very
love it.
cool. Nice.
But again, boy, as soon as I first saw these covers, I was like, oh my god, I have to have all of those. So yeah, I mean, now we're getting back to where the film and the novel really do feel very similar. In fact, I would be hard pressed to tell you the differences between the novel and the film. The film is so faithful, and Peter Hunt, who directed it, said, that book was just so good. It was all there. I didn't want to
Right.
change a thing. And for the most part, they really don't. They stay very faithful. Interestingly, I think there's even a couple things here and there where they actually improve on the original story.
Wow.
One example would be the climax, and when Bond escapes Piz Gloria, he does meet up with Tracy, and they escape together. And then once they escape, he says, Tracy, now you run along. I'm going to go back and get the bad guys. As opposed to the film, where during their escape, she's captured. So when Bond goes back to Piz Gloria, there's an added sense of urgency because he's rescuing her as well. So I think
Yeah.
it's an interesting improvement. Another thing, by the way, that will impress upon you is the novel happens a little out of sequence. It has more of that sort of flashback feel, where it starts off here, and now Bond reflects to the other events that led up to this. Interestingly, the film, I guess for the sake of keeping it simple and keeping in the style of Bond films, it all moves very linearly. So
Hmm.
essentially, the things that happen when you read the novel, you'll more or less see the events unfold the way it happens in the film. Yet, like in the film, Bond finds Tracy. She goes to commit suicide. In the novel, it opens up to Bond. He rescues her from the suicide, but this happens. He flashes back to how they met, had the poker game, went to bed together,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
then after this beach scene, kind of in the style of For Your Eyes Only, Draco's goons show up on the beach to bring them in. So it's kind of it's sort of interesting how they found a way in the film to keep the events happening the way they happen, and it still makes logical sense. But in the novel, it was
Yes.
totally different.
I agree with you, and I think it's one of these. If you were to recommend for a Bond fan out there that's just been watching the movies but now wants to start reading the books, Casino Royale and the movie and the book ties together. I think this is the second runner up, but a close one, maybe even
Mm.
more, because I think it goes hand in hand. And it's funny too. This is another one. About 2 years ago, I read the book, and I kept feeling like I was reading a screenplay, book, novel interpretation. That's how close it is. And Joe, I'm gonna do something very personalized right
Yeah.
now. I I want to call all the people in the live stream chat to make a determination of whether they would like to see you do one more encore book. So Joe's got one more left in the chamber, but I want everybody to say if they would like to hear Joe do one more book around Ian Fleming in the movie. Start saying it now. We can have Sheriff Pepper. Damn it, Harris Thomas. Let Joe know, or Joe can just watch. But I told you, you're the secret and active ingredient here. You determine if we're going to do another book or not. Let's see what the crowd
I
says.
love that.
Hopefully they start posting. Let's see what they're
I
saying.
love that because this is kind of you're going to challenge me too because basically you're if people vote on one that I haven't really prepped for, I got to pull it off the shelf behind me, and we're going to
Well,
test my knowledge
they're
to
not
see if
voting
I'm
on.
up on it.
They're just voting on whether they want to hear you do another one, not like which one. So
Okay,
just either yes or
very
no.
good,
Yes or no. So let's see. And Harris hopefully will text you, or you can
very
look.
good.
Uh,
Harris
let's
is
see.
feeding me information, so this is very good. Our man in the field.
Good, good.
So lastly, and again, an interesting one as far as how does it relate to the film? We're gonna do You Only Live Twice.
So by the way, you did. This was going to be the encore one. You did it. So I could see that everybody wants you to do it. So we're going to do this one.
Very good.
This is your encore one.
Super cool. Very good. All right, here's a couple of the books I got handy. Very. I really love the creativity. There you go. All right, and Harris says go for it. So here we go. There we go. Douche.
Go
So
ahead,
here's
Jeff.
my so again as this is like one of the last books. What not at this point we are several books into the by the time I got to this one I'd read a whole bunch. Um, so and again we already know that the films were filmed in sort of a weird order. So when you read the books that happen chronologically, it doesn't necessarily translate onto film. So interestingly, You Only Live Twice actually happens after the events of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So it is very much James Bond in Japan. But this is post Tracy. This is think of the opening shots of Diamonds Are Forever when Bond is angry and in the film it goes away 30 seconds after it starts, but Bond is angry and he's searching for Blofeld. Well, Bond in this film, in this novel, it opens up. His wife has been killed. He's taken to the bottle, etc. See Skyfall, and M more or less sends him on kind of a what you would call sort of a bullshit mission. Because he wants him to go out and sort of just get his mojo back. So he gets sent to Japan, and kind of like how some of the books and films go, the mission starts out sort of low stakes. And what's interesting in this one, it's a very much a travelogue. It's very much, you can definitely tell that Ian Fleming went to Japan and had a lot to say about it. So it's him in Japan. He meets, the Ditko Henderson is a little bit different. Tiger Tanaka is a little bit different in the novel, but it's a lot of him spending time with them and discussing Japan. And then when we finally get around to the story, and I should mention this, for years I was a giant component. I said, they need to do all the novels exactly the way they are. I mean, back in the day, I think I even used the word verbatim. I said, I want to see them do versions of like just do, even if it's like a TV series, just do it exactly like the books, I like keeping strictly close to the novels, etc. And then I finally got around to finishing all the books, and I got around to You Only Live Twice, and then I kind of went, that might be a little tricky, because I kind of feel like this has got to be the weirdest book of the bunch. Honestly, the only, and this also, by the way, might have, when I talk about the films, You Only Live Twice to me is like one of the first ones that starts to kind of fall from grace a little bit. You had the Fab Four, and then you had this one, which for me was a little goofy,
Dude,
you know.
you're gonna get hate mail. What's wrong with you? The hate mail just calmed down for
Yeah,
you.
right?
Now you want it back up
Seriously,
again?
right?
I love You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like, for me, it's like Moonraker before there was Moonraker. It's the first time where they took the book and really got into full blown science fiction. Which again, I'm not really saying that's the end of the world, but it's just not what I'm looking for. And I do think I do think science fiction is kind of accurate, because I think you went from maybe a couple gadgets that were just kind of just touching the line of what they could actually do, as opposed to like full blown taking off and landing spaceships. That even today we still don't have. But yeah, then you sort of have the confrontation with Blofeld. I mean, like I said, the stakes, it's almost like, well, now, as Bond was doing a low stakes mission, he sort of figures out the location of Blofeld. There's a confrontation. There's a weird garden of death. And Blofeld has kind of adapted this kind of Japanese samurai culture in trying to reinvent himself. So the showdown looks somewhere between, Shogun and even Game of Thrones. I mean, there's full blown sword fighting. I mean, it's a little nutty. So it's definitely an interesting read. I would definitely recommend it. And but again, it's but don't expect a lot of tie-ins with the film.
The one thing I liked more with the book, though, than I did with the film was the fact that Blofeld truly is a madman. I mean, he's a little Looney Tunes in the sense that, what he's into and the kind of the cosplay aspect of it, and even the Garden of Death, which I think a lot of Bond fans that follow the literary Bond truly have a big heart, not an enlarged heart like you, but a big heart for the Garden of Death, even wanted it in No Time to Die. So I think it's got that aspect.
I think that's something that could be, I mean, especially with, you have reasonable special effects today. You could probably pull that off in a way that would be reasonably convincing, and we could possibly revisit it. But yeah,
it's questionable. Joe, thank you for taking us through this literary Bond. I am remiss on something, and I am going to move for
Mm.
a second. I'll tell you why. A couple of eagle-eyed people realized that I skipped over the poor
Ah.
Timothy Dalton stuff. And sure enough, I did, and I apologize for that. I've obviously have the Living Daylights and License to Kill. Living Daylights right here, so we'll come in just a little bit closer so you can take a look at that. And I've got some wonderful pieces here. You could see, obviously, with License to Kill, a lot of paper props and things like that, even a bazooka. And I apologize for that. That was hold on a second. For for all of you Timothy Dalton fans, that was like heresy that I did that. So I apologize. Uh, Joe, are we widescreen again? Are we like full on?
We are split screen once more. Yes.
We're full screen now.
I can do you full screen. I can do split screen. Yeah. You want fulls?
Do me full screen because we're going to move on to Sartorial
Very
Bond.
good. Awesome.
All right. Before we do that, as a nice little apology to the Timothy Dalton fans out there, we are going to have a trivia question. Here we go. We got it. Get your fingers ready. If you're in the bathroom, stop midstream if that's even a thing, and get out of the bathroom. Here is another trivia question. And it's perfect that I'm standing in front of Timothy Dalton because one of the things that I loved about the Timothy Dalton movies, it's the globe trotting James Bond. I mean, it's, he is a globetrotter. He's everywhere. He's in, foreign places. He's domestic. He's all over the globe. And you really feel like you're traveling with him. And our next wonderful brand that gave something happens to be Globetrotter. Now imagine Globetrotter right now doing the amazing things that they do, and nobody can go anywhere. But they were nice enough to gift us a wonderful prize, and I don't know how well it's going to come out on screen, but it is a Spectre travel wallet. Now, when we do travel again, and we will, this is a full leather Globetrotter wallet with the Spectre 007 logo at the bottom. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got place for money, your passport, tickets, cards, the whole nine yards. It's like artwork, their stuff. And the leather smells pretty damn good too. Globetrotter, they came out with a bunch of things from No Time to Die as well, which we're going to be reviewing. That's another day. This is going to be somebody's prize, though. So here comes the questions. Get your fingers ready, everybody. Somebody's going to win that Globetrotter. Globetrotter will get in touch with you and will send you that piece right to your door. Here we go. Speaking of globetrotting, how does Bond arrive in North Korea in Die Another Day? How does Bond arrive in North Korea in Die Another Day? All right, let's give everybody a little bit of time. We'll have Dressing Like Bond, Harris Thomas. Contact Joe. This is like the game of telephone when we have a winner. I don't want to announce what the answer is yet because a lot of you are probably still dialing in. This is all about speed and accuracy, just like Bond. Speed and yeah. All right. That's right. Because if there's a dispute about who got first, I want it all on Harris's head because we will release his personal address shortly. And if you want to take it up with him, you can. I'm just the messenger. Don't come back to me. Okay, so the answer then is surfboard. Of course, he arrives on a surfboard. And who was the lucky winner? Wonderful, Alex. Congratulations. You are the lucky winner, and I am going to toast you. And thank you, Globetrotter. Hold on. I also wanted a drink. Mm. Joe, I feel so bad. You had all intentions of having a nice bottle of wine. I know. I know. All right. Well, don't go to the bathroom, anybody. We're going to move over here because we are now talking about the what I affectionately call the sartorial bond. You could call it the fashion and style of Bond. Now, not all of you really like this particular aspect, but it's part of James Bond. It's part of who he is. And so we do like to talk about it. Today, we're going to theme the discussion around No Time to Die. We're going to be talking about some of those things. We're going to show you some new things that you folks, even if you do follow the sartorial or bond lifestyle or lifestyle, that you haven't seen before. And I want to thank somebody very specifically first, and that is I want to thank Matt Spazer of the Suits of James Bond, because when we get to a certain part, we're going to borrow very liberally from his website. So when you hear the good words come out, that's probably his website. So thank you, Matt. If you haven't checked out his website, what are you doing? Go check it out. All right. And look at this, folks. What's going on? The live stream has gone crazy. This could only mean one thing. We just had a trivia question. We're going to have another one. Somebody went to the bathroom and they're going to lose out. Yep. The very first thing we're talking about is Bond's garage or storage jacket that we're affectionately calling, but it is from Rogue Territory, or RGT as we like to call it. This is a wax cotton jacket. We did a review of it. It's fast becoming one of the favorite jackets out there. I don't think it's, I'm going to hesitate in saying that. It's a beautiful jacket. I wear it all the time. In fact, I had to take it from my closet upstairs to put it down here to show you. But here we go. So Rogue Territory and the Bond Experience have teamed up. They chipped in and I chipped in. And one of you are now going to own this jacket. So here we go. This is actually for you to get one in your size. Rogue Territory and I will help you with your sizing for the lucky winner. And we will be shipping, again, directly to your door. You don't need to leave. This is Operation Stay at Home Operatives. So we want you to stay at home. Here we go. Oh my gosh. And this question is a Timothy Dalton question. You can't make this stuff up, people. Here we go. The Living Daylights was the last Bond film that which composer scored? I'll read it again. The Living Daylights was the last Bond film that which composer scored? And again, I will take a last name. If you have one of these, please don't play this game. Let somebody out there who doesn't have one of these, that would cherish one of these and love one of these, have this. And so hopefully the answers are coming in fast and furious. This is a speed game, people. I know. A lot of you are like, I've got slow dial-up, David, or I'm dialing in, from a pantry in my office. So, Joe, do we have an answer yet, or a winner?
I see the three little red dots. I think it's coming. By the way, our man
All
in the
right.
field let me know that my audio might have dropped for a second there when we talked about the last one. So just if people didn't hear me say it, it was Alex Sukopp, Sukopp, who guessed surfboard. This one here.
And this one is the answer is John Barry, of course. John Barry.
There you go. Some guy. I don't know who this is. Peter Brooker. I don't know. Does that ring a bell for you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. No, it doesn't. But listen, speed is speed. Peter, you're going to have one of these at your doorstep. And yes, Peter, I even know what size you're going to need. That's just how we roll here. All right, let's continue. So here we have the Massimo Alba suit. I did a review on it. You see Bond canoodling with Madeline Swan in Matera. What I love about this suit is the corduroy and everything is incredibly soft. Massimo Alba did several corduroy pieces. They also did something, it's called a raincoat. It's that long trench, which we will be reviewing very shortly. But Massimo Alba is an Italian-based company. And why I wanted to highlight them today is Italy is in major lockdown right now, having a lot of issues and obviously a lot of shipping issues. And Massimo Alba is not a huge fashion company. They're a small company and they're getting out orders as fast as they can. But this is one that I enjoyed wearing. And actually, I'm going to be wearing it for spring, summer, and even fall wear. It's extremely comfortable. When we first all saw this, we were like, Bond? What is it, Bond like a professor now? But I think when you see it all done up with the Alexander Olch tie, it really does start to look like Bond in a relatively more casual atmosphere. Okay, now we're still hanging out in Matera, but this is the Connolly of England jacket. Again, this is for all you style people out there that enjoy this type of stuff. It is that linen cotton blend, super comfortable. And there's a little interesting story. The reason why I wanted to highlight it today is I did a review on this just a couple days ago, posted it. It's up on YouTube. And Connolly, I was very authentic and honest. And I said to Connolly of England, I said, I like the jacket. It's not for me. And I'm going to say that. And they were so good about that. Some brands are like, oh, you're going to say something bad. Not Connolly of England. They said, yeah, this is not for everybody. I think it's fine maybe for Bond. I mean, it's not what I would have put Bond in, quite frankly. I like when he wears like the traditional military clothing and Harringtons. But for him, just relaxing, maybe he's been retired for a while. He's in Matera. It's hot out. This is nice and light. Look at it go. Look at it go.
I got a question
It's
for you,
probably
Dave.
perfect.
Do you
Yeah.
think that article of clothing says something about Craig's possible state of mind in at that moment in the film? Like, do you think it could possibly be intended to be a tiny bit schlubby?
Yes, I do. And in fact, that's a great point, Joe. I think that all of the clothing choices until he goes to the garage and maybe, whips off, the thing off of his Aston
Yeah,
Martin and, gets in his first Tom Ford suit. He's, Bahamas outfit. He's in
yeah.
jeans, no socks, boat shoes. Then he's in this beforehand. He's in this kind of professorial
Mm.
outfit. It is not the buttoned up military. When you wear those Tom Ford suits, you feel like you're in the military. Your chest is puffed out. Here, you just feel like you could slope your shoulders a little bit. You could just kind of
Right.
relax.
Yeah.
So I do think it was very purposely a state of mind for sure.
Nice. I agree.
Great question. And by the way, speaking of state of mind, we've all seen this. This is the NPL. This is the navy colored ribbed sweater that you see in, oh gosh, many of the posters, the trailers, a lot of ad campaigns, and a review that we did. Uh, Again, it's that kind of, cashmere wool. It's amazingly soft. I'm not going to go over specific details because I think I've had like 2 videos on this. Love this puppy. And it's a very Bond moment. It looks like there's quite a lot of Bond action in this sweater. But here's the deal, folks. We are just machine gunning these trivia. Today on this live stream, one of you is going to win the NPL Cashmere No Time to Die sweater in your size delivered to your home. Yes, folks, we have another trivia question. Everybody get ready. This is for an NPL sweater directly from NPL. We'll help you with your sizing. We'll get you the sizing you need. We're going to put it in a beautiful box. It's going to look something like this. It's big. It's thick. I can't believe I just said that. I told you to put your kids to sleep. Damn it. And you will love this. Pomp and circumstance, pretty big. Here we go. Here we go. And it's a Daniel Craig question. So appropriate. All right. What 2 vehicles does Bond commandeer, that means take, in Haiti, while following Camille? Let me read it again. What 2 vehicles does Bond commandeer in Haiti while following Camille? It's good questions, right? Huh? See, and then if you win, hopefully the answers are coming. I'll buy some time. So if you win that, then you've got to go out and you've got to get these military tech gloves, and you've got to get the Henley shirt that goes underneath it. Forget about the pants. They're custom. You're out of luck, etc. But you could start to put the whole outfit together or just wear it with a lot of different things. By the way, our own Dressing Like Bond put together this little informative, what if you don't want to wear it like Bond, kind of visual informational on how to wear this sweater with a lot of different things. It's great. Joe, we got a winner coming in?
Let's see. I see the people are really getting smart too. I noticed not only are they throwing out correct answers, but they're typing them very succinctly. Like they're even typing quickly and
Yes, don't put sentences. If you're wasting time with sentences, you're not going to win any of the amazing prizes
there we
today.
go.
That's true.
So I think we got one.
All right, so before you read it, hold on. I'll tell you what the answer is. There are 2 vehicles, and this is just in Haiti. The guy takes a lot of vehicles in this movie, but we're talking about Haiti. It's a motorbike and a
There you
boat.
go.
So what do we
I
got,
saw
Joe?
people writing motorcycle and boat, and then it became bike and boat, and then it just became bike boat. So people are getting pretty smart. But the winner was the Arts 8. The Arts 8.
Yes, Arts 8. All right. Well, Arts 8, we're gonna get in contact with you. We're gonna give you a secret code so you can redeem that, and we'll start the conversation. So, Arts 8, congratulations, and the prizes will keep on coming. But we're gonna keep with Sartorial Bond, and we are moving uh, over to my relatively messy table. Hold on. Let's see if we can come in close. All right, here we go. And again, this is where I get to cheat. So I'm going to have you look at this. Now, what you're looking at right now, for those uninitiated out there, is the tuxedo from No Time to Die. Here it is, folks. We've got the bow tie, we've got the shirt, and we've got the jacket. And you know, Tom Ford, and this is where I can borrow liberally from Matt Spazer. He provided for No Time to Die what they do best, a dinner suit. This, by the way, is the Atticus model. It's a single button. It's black. This is not blue. A lot of people thought this was navy blue in the posters. It's not. It's black. In fact, the way this looks, and even the coloring of it, is most similar, not to Skyfall, like a lot of people thought, but to Quantum of Solace. It's got a very non-traditional picked collar. And you know, depending on your resolution, this is the pick that goes around that. Usually it's very smooth, but this is very, very picked. It's got jetted pockets. It's got really, really interesting cuffs. Now let me look at those cuffs. Those cuffs are actually called gauntlet cuffs. They've got covered buttons. It's all trimmed in a black silk satin, the buttons. And in the back, it's got a single vent. And by the way, I'm not going to take you through an entire review of this because guess what? Tom Ford sent a monster box before the total lockdown, and we're going to be going over every suit, every piece that Tom Ford did for the movie in nauseating review. This is just a sneak peek. Call this a teaser, if you will, for those people that love the fashionable stuff. By the way, the white shirt, it's got a pick cotton front. It's got a lot of different texture. It's got a point collar. It's got the Dr. No cocktail cuffs on the bottom, which is very cool. And mother of pearl buttons, which we do not have in here, but trust me, he wears mother of pearl buttons. So stay tuned for more of that when we do our full review. By the way, how am I doing? I am like taking all this stuff around. I got to fix the lighting for you because I don't want any of you to miss a thing. Because the last piece we're going to be talking about, as you're all getting very dizzy, more than likely. So this suit from Tom Ford should look very familiar. This is the suit that Bond wears in the trailer when he's talking to Madeline Swan, when he goes to see Blofeld, but also when it looks like in some of the paparazzi pictures, he sees M. This is very similar to the Prince of Wales check suit, but it's in a navy and a mid blue. You can kind of see that navy and mid blue. It's absolutely gorgeous. The hand of this is incredibly soft, but it's got navy buttons to match. So those are not black buttons. Those are actually navy buttons on there. This is a Tom Ford O'Connor suit style. It's the same style. However, for all of the No Time to Die suits, they thinned out the lapels just a hair. The suit itself, the buttoning on it is a button 2, show 1 jacket fastening. It's also called a 3-roll 2, which means that it basically hides this third button. You never actually see that button. You certainly never button that button. The jacket is lightly structured. It has some rope sleeve heads, which really kind of sets up that suit of armor type look. The hip pockets themselves are gently slanted with flaps. And what's really, really nice about this is there are some things that are very Tom Ford on here, and that is that the cuffs have 4 buttons with only 3 fastened, the last buttonhole being longer than the others, and that's typical of Tom forward. I'm not showing you any of the pants with this, but I do have to show you the shirt. It's a sky blue with a high point collar. And by the way, that high point collar is very similar to the ones that you've seen, but it has Dr. No cocktail cuffs on the sleeves. I'm not showing you the pocket square that it comes with, but the tie is what I'm hoping the correct tie is. And what do I mean by correct tie? Well, let me show you something. Here we go. You're going to love this, I think. All right. See all this right here? They sent me 6 ties, which is great. They sent me all the ties that you see in No Time to Die. No tie, no time to tie, no tie to tie. And the reality is I don't know which ones they go to. So I've got to wait till my friends at Tom Ford are back and I speak to the costume people and find out which goes where. But hopefully I've got the right ones set up. And by the way, one thing I'm not showing you that you should know about is that obviously he has a tie clasp on this particular suit. Well, guess what? We have another prize. So the tie clasp used in the movie is from Benson and Clegg, which we're going to be doing a video on a lot of their James Bond contributions. But today, what they did was they got somebody out there one of the No Time to Die tie clips. One of these is going to be jetting to your house. And by now, like Joe said, you're all getting smart and you know how to do it. Because here comes a trivia question for the No Time to Die tie class from Benson and Clegg. Here we go. Oh, it's a weapon question. All right, you weapon aficionados, you get your, here, exercise. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You got your, perfect. Here we go. What is the weapon that Professor Dent uses to try to assassinate Bond in Miss Taro's house? I'll read it again. What is the weapon that Professor Dent uses to try to assassinate Bond in Miss Taro's house? We'll give it a little moment. By the way, the tie class comes in this nice little box, etc. I am so chuffed that these brands, today was not about the brands going, here's another email or anything. And, they got to stay in business like everybody else. Most of these brands are small companies and they're mom and pops and they've got to stay afloat too. But they said, no, this time we're giving to people out there and just spread a little smile on people's faces. So hopefully the answer is coming in. I wonder if it's safe to give it.
I see the 3 little dots happening.
All right. And I'm looking for something a little bit more specific than just one word here. But I'll read the answer. I think it's safe to answer. The weapon that Professor Dent uses was a Smith & Wesson gun. And not Wesson oil, a Smith & Wesson gun. So do we have a winner, Joe?
I do. Our man in the field is telling us to let everyone know that their user comments show up first. The moderator feed has actual timing, so they will always see their post first. But we do have a winner.
All right.
And I apologize. I'm gonna mangle his name pretty good. But his first name is Shamir. And it looks like it's Ravji. Shamir Ravji. Ravji. Shamir.
Awesome. Well, Shamir, wherever you are, that is going to be coming to you shortly. Congratulations. Fantastic. And we are going to move ourselves this way. And while I do that, I hope everybody is taking a moment to maybe fix a drink for themselves, have something a little bit special. I know I'm buying time with you because I've got to fix myself for the next piece. Here I go. I'm too low. But I'd love everybody to list what they're drinking right now. That would be very cool because now I can actually see your comments, which I'm pretty excited about. There's a lot of congrats coming in. Jay Sadowski saying Smith & Wesson. Yeah, it's very cool. I feel like now I'm a part of you guys now. I felt so separated before for the last hour and 30 minutes. And we have been going for 90 minutes. So congratulations to everybody for staying awake. And let's hear it. Round of applause for Joe Darlington for making this thing just a totally different level. Joe, you are the best,
Thank you,
man.
my friend. Thank you, my friend. It seems to be very worth it. I think everybody's having a good time, and this has been a lot of fun so far.
And my drink is still cold. That must be that ice in
Really,
it type thing.
my coffee's still warm. I wish I had a drink right now, but
Isn't there a Bond quote that says something about that?
my martini's still dry.
All right. We are going to do something very special. Many of you know that Joe is truly a great co-host and an entity to its own right. And he and I were really talking about the whole idea of keeping the Bond community entertained and honestly keeping us entertained. We love and enjoy doing this, but we talked about what else can we do? I mean, we've reviewed all the movies. How many times can we review the movies? How many times can everybody review the movies? But what if we were to do something where we were still sharing our opinion? So today we are debuting a new series from Being James Bond and the Bond Experience. And you folks are going to be the first ones to see the new series. It is James Bond Top 5. And are we split? We are
Yes.
split screen. Great. Let me give you a little taste before we get into today's top 5 topic, a little taste of the things that you're going to hear this year. We're going to be talking about top 5 Bond girls, top 5 stunts, top 5 gadgets, top 5 one-liners, top 5 henchmen, top 5 cars, top 5 locations, top 5 musical cues, top 5 posters, top 5 plot points, top 5 nail-biting moments, top 5 outfits, speaking of such, and so much more. So we hope you're going to like it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And Joe, what are we talking about today, though?
Today we are doing the top 5 Bond villains.
Shit. Gosh, I felt so safe even at home until you said villains, and now,
Well,
ah.
the biggest villain is CV-19 right now.
By the way, a couple people said wristwatch check. I've got the Planet Ocean from Casino Royale on. Seemed appropriate. Don't have the No Time to Die Omega. It got loaned and it's going to go bye-bye. So that's how it rolls. All right, Joe, how are we going to do this?
Well, how we are going to do this is we are going to first David will go first with his dishonorable mentions, and then he will give us his first 4, and then we'll swing over to me. I will give you my honorable mentions, and then I'll give you my 4, and then we'll swing back to Dave. He'll tell you his number 1, and then we'll swing back to me, and I'll tell you my number 1.
Dude,
All right.
you be the Sherpa. You lead me through. So I'm going to give my first dishonorable mention.
Very good. Let's do your first dishonorable mention.
All right, my first dishonorable mention. Oh, you're going to kill me. It's got to go to Blofeld, but let me explain who. It's the Christoph Waltz one. And I will explain why. So the dishonorable mentions are the ones that we just feel missed the boat. To me, a good Bond villain / a bad Bond villain is one that really seems scary, seems like he could take over the world, seems like he could be an equal foe to Bond. And I love Christoph Waltz as an actor. Love him. I think he's done amazing things. Most of his movies that he's in. They missed it on this one, whether it's between the Brofeld scenario or just making him so sinister at that table and then not doing anything with him for the rest of the movie. Basically, he was Wild E. Coyote. I mean, even that whole torture scene with Daniel Craig, it's so ineffective. It's like, now he's going to forget. Now he won't remember you. Now he's going to die. And it's like, let's drill him 3 times and nothing. Way to go, bad guy. And the architect of all your, so what? To me, I just, no. I wasn't a fan of what they did with him. It's not the actor's fault. I'm sorry to say. I think it's the way they handled it in the movie itself.
You know what? I can't argue with that at all. I can't argue with that at all. Who's your next honorable mention, my friend? Dishonorable mention.
So my next honorable mention has to go to a slight irritation. Think about when you have sandpaper in your underwear or sand in your bathing suit. Sandpaper in your underwear. Where the hell did that come from? It's Elliot Carver from Tomorrow Never Dies. Now, here's the crazy part. I like Tomorrow Never Dies. Yes, I'm the person. that likes that movie. I think it's got action adventure. I think it's got a very swarmy, charming James Bond and Pierce Brosnan. I think he got comfortable with it and became his own. But Elliot Carver, as a bad guy, he doesn't seem menacing. He seems like this, kind of accountant gone wrong. He doesn't seem dangerous at all. He's a little bit whiny. The whole thing with Wei Lin with a ho ha ha ho ha ha ho is just utterly ridiculous. I don't think he's an equal connection to Bond. So to me, no bueno.
I'm with you there, my friend. Bring it on. So now we can get into your actual your actual list.
Okay, so my list starts out with somebody who this is not a movie that I actually grade in a very high way, which is crazy because now you're like, well, hold on a second. Tim Hand says Carver was a pantomime villain. That's true. So the first one in this top 5 list, number 5, is Sanchez. Sanchez from License to Kill. Now, I did not grade License to Kill high. I thought it was the Miami Vice of James Bond movies, but Sanchez seemed dangerous. He seemed like he could make bad things happen for Bond and his friends. And I think Robert Davi played that bad guy so well. He seemed like kind of a dark arts, mafia type of individual, but the way he connected with Bond and then turned everything around, I loved his portrayal. He gets my number 5 spot.
I like that. I think that's a good one too. I think I would agree with that. That the strength of that film really has to be that kind of head to head with Bond and Sanchez. So nicely done.
Absolutely. All right, number 4. We've got Blofeld. Blofeld's back again, but not Christoph Waltz. It's Telly Savalas. Who loves you, baby? I do. I love Telly Savalas. I thought On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a wonderful film. We talked about it ad nauseum, but I don't think people talk enough about the Blofeld portrayal that Telly Savalas does is my favorite Blofeld portrayal out of them all. I think, again, he's this kind of playboy Blofeld that is very sure of himself, even the way he holds a cigarette and leans back and he goes, "No, Sir Hillary." But meanwhile, he kind of knows the score and what's going on. And I simply freak out over his portrayal. Then you've got an action-oriented Blofeld. He's skiing. He's getting away from Bond. He's commanding people. Dare I say, he's a badass Blofeld? I thought he did a great job.
Big time. I big time agreeing with that one. I'm surprised actually, but nicely done.
I'm glad I'm surprising you.
You
All right,
certainly are.
Number three, I had to go for this guy, Alec Trevelyan from Goldeneye. And for a lot of different reasons. Again, I like Bond movies where they pit Bond next to somebody that could really go mano a mano with him, not this cream puff melting in the sun. Alec Trevelyan is 00 He's 006, so he's got the skills. He knows the watch that Bond's using. He can foil him. Plus, he's a bit of a, excuse my language, he's a bit of a dick to Bond. I mean, he's got these great one-liners about cutting Bond up and doing things. And again, he's got these great fights with Bond that really make it look like there is something detrimental that could happen to Bond. Like it's not going to be over in 2 seconds. So Alec Trevelyan gets number 3 for me.
Nice. I like that one. So now we're up to your number 2.
And Joe Bedeker says Sean Bean is always great. He is. He always dies, but he's always great. Yep. All right, my number two. And this was hard going between the 1 and 2. My number 2 is Le Chiffre from Casino Royale. Oh my gosh. Le Chiffre, the lines, the maniacal nature, this whole idea of this guy who's, skating by the skin of his pants. That's not right. Skating, freak me. He is working above and below the law, and he gets in trouble with people above him and below him. But he captures everything. He's got his own bad girl, in Valenka, and she's just pretty badass too. So I think he just captured these wonderful moments, and he gets over on Bond. I mean, Mr. White takes care of business, but before that, he's head and shoulders above everybody else.
Dude, I'm with you. I think that's it. So far, that is a pretty spectacular list, and you're absolutely right. He does have kind of a badass, bad girlfriend too. Yeah, nicely done. I'm with you.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay, that means it's my turn to give my.
Go
I'll
for it.
start off with my one dishonorable mention. My dishonorable mention is Winton Kid from Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah, boy,
Oh,
this
that's
it's
mean.
yeah these this is a weird one for me. I mean I've always said the whole movie is weird, and the movie is kind of defined by weirdness. Um, and I kind of think that I sometimes I think people I think Bond fans can't decide, should I be giving this film credit for having a gay couple in it, or should I be kind of like a little eye rolling the fact that they threw them in there? And I think that they only did it because I think at the time they were trying to like, look how weird these guys are, they're gay, they hold hands. So yeah, I've always struggled with these guys, and I kind of look at the two of them, and I think, boy, where do they even find these guys? Like the guy who plays the tall one, I forget who is who now. I guess it's Mr. Kidd. Um,
Oh yeah.
I know he was sort of well known as, I think he was a composer, he was a musician. But I always look at him, I'm like, Jesus, I like Michael Stivic looks at him and says, man, I look good compared to that guy.
By the way, he's still kicking and alive, and he's gonna come after you. It's
I
like you're begging for
yeah,
hate mail.
I'm gonna have a scorpion down the back of my neck if I'm not careful. So moving on to my honorable mention. I'm kind of cheating by having two honorable mentions. I guess technically I'm sort of making this my top seven.
Dishonorable.
No, I
Dishonorable
got it.
mention.
That was my dishonorable. I have an honorable that didn't quite
Oh,
make the list, but I kind of wanted to mention. My one honorable mention is Doctor No. And again, I've always found that, I mean, he's a great villain. And the thing that I think really needs mentioning is that he became the prototype Bond villain, where so many Bond villains, after him, just sort of like took that as their example going forward. I think Blofeld follows the Doctor No model. And I just think it's amazing that the very first Bond film got that so right.
yeah.
It became iconic within that series. That whole kind of, that type of a villain. And I think they were very smart to know that a good villain can make or break, the movie. So I think that was pretty smart. My other honorable mention, again, almost made the list, but I still thought it was worth mentioning. Scaramanga. I thought, that was another one that I thought, talk about kind of the mirror opposite of James Bond. He's the bad guy, but he's a highly skilled assassin. Um, I think I never thought they really did enough with him. He was the kind of character that was more build up than actual delivery. Not a whole lot really happens with him, and honestly, it's a weird one because in the plot, like Scaramanga even says to him straight out, "Well, Mr. Bond, I really have no problem with you, so I'll be seeing you." And frankly, if he didn't kidnap Mary Goodnight, the movie's over basically. Um, Although it's sort of interesting where he's like, Mr. Bond, I really have no personal problem with you. Don't mind the James Bond mannequin I have in my funhouse that I shoot at constantly, but I really have no problem with you personally. So, yeah, I kind of felt like they still could have done a little more with that character, but again, amazing actor and good presence. So,
By the way, Joe, I've got to
yeah.
interrupt for a second because there's a lot of discussion. As much as you've moved on to two honorable mentions, a lot of discussion with Winton Kidd. And I don't know if you knew this, but Calvin Dyson and Jack Lugo, for example, have a lot of love of Winton
Uh-huh.
Kidd, and they are boycotting being James Bond at this point. And I assume there'll be more in the future.
Oh
My
boy.
apologies.
Yeah, Witten Kid. Yeah, a lot of people like them, but I don't know.
Moving
Yeah,
on.
moving on. All right, number one. And I'm actually a little surprised that we had this in common, actually. But
Oh,
I also went with Blofeld from Honor Majesties, Telly Savalas.
wait, that was your number one, or that was your
This is my
number
number
four?
five. We're my
Oh, number five.
yes. Yeah, my
Got it.
cheating is getting confusing. But yeah, this is my official number five, Blofeld from Honor Majesties. I agree with you. This was easily, well, with an asterisk. Definitely the best Blofeld we saw on screen. I think Blofeld was always a character that was very hard to cast and to really get right. And I think it's probably safe to say we probably never had the perfect Blofeld. But I think Kelly
Mm-hmm.
is as close to it as we're going to get. One of the criticisms I hear a lot is that, well, he's a street thug. He's not Blofeld. Well, he's a street thug because you watched a lot of Kojak. I never did. So honestly, I just thought he was perfect. Frankly, I thought he had. The Blofeld in the books, by the way. I mean, he was always a physically imposing and capable specimen. Frankly, so the fact that you see this Blofeld on skis chasing after James Bond, I thought that was pretty spot on. Frankly, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
He's got really good presence. Some of his dialogue is a little clunky. I don't know when he, so poetic a pleasure. Okay, we get a little not perfect.
Forgive him for that.
We will totally forgive him for that. Honestly, but I really think he was pretty damn the closest to the best to a perfect Blofeld, and definitely the best one we saw. All right, which brings me to my number 4. You mentioned before, by the way, that a Bond villain should be scary. So for my scariest, I'm going to go with Red Grant.
I thought about him too.
Yeah,
That's good.
So if you cheated like me, you would have had an honorable mention, and he would have been there.
He would have.
But I think Grant is one of the scariest characters. I mean, and I mean that. I mean, like when you watch him, again, the film is very careful that they don't they don't need to show him being excessively violent. Like in a modern action film, you would set up the bad guy by showing him doing something awful to one of his minions, and that's how you know we don't like him. Well, Grant never does. I mean, he murders a guy in basically cold blood in the opening, so we know this guy he's cold blooded, he's ruthless. We don't see him get excessive on screen, but yet somehow in his portrayal, you have no doubt that when he and Bond when he confronts Bond, Bond is on his knees. That guy is going to do some serious damage to James Bond. Almost the polar opposite of what you were saying earlier about Blofeld in Spectre has Bond in the chair. He's doing torture to him, but yet somehow we're not feeling anything. Like it's kind of at the in the moment you're kind of bristling, but again, no real consequences, etc. This one, they don't even have to show up, but you just feel like if Bond doesn't figure out a way to get out of this, he's in deep trouble. Like Red Grant's gonna make it hurt, And of course, the train fight is stellar. I mean, it's still to this day one of the best fights in a film. So,
all right, who's your next one?
My number 3, I think, will surprise you. Actually,
okay.
My number 3 is Kananga from Live and Let Die.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? That is a good one. I may have actually forgotten to even consider him.
He's that's interesting. It's interesting too, and again, there are some examples where I feel like the film really does improve upon the novels. In Live and Let Die, the bad guy is simply Mr. Big, and he is simply he's basically a thug. He's capable. He has an organized crime syndicate that he's controlling. But again, he's more of just a gangster. This one, and I really have to hand it to the actor in this case. The actor is amazing because he's playing multiple parts. We've had villains that double cross Bond, right? That Christados comes to mind, Trevelyan comes to mind, where they're playing themselves, but they pretend to be Bond's friend, and then they turn on them later. But this in this case, you get a guy who's actually playing different characters. I mean, you have like the actor sort of within the actor. So he's doing street thug Mr. Big, speaking in the slang of the 70s. This is a total blaxploitation type character, and then you have Kananga. You have the diplomat Kananga, who's well dressed. He speaks elegantly. So he's playing both of these perfectly. And frankly, a facial mask, a little wonky aside, I think he's extremely convincing in both parts. And then what's great is that he essentially basically morphs the two characters into just the actual Kananga. It's almost like you never really get
Yeah.
to see the real Kananga until the end. And when he breaks out and the fight happens and he does that cat-like thing with the knives up here, whatever.
Yeah, that's scary.
Right? Yeah. Like all of a sudden it's like, wow, yes, exactly right. He's a scary, nasty guy, right? And I almost feel like that's in some ways sort of a third character where it's kind of like the amalgam of all these other personalities he's created merge into one, and now he's going to take out Bond. I mean, I really think he is pretty spectacular.
Yes. All right. Keep it going.
So my number 2, and
who does number 2 work for?
And I don't think this will be a surprise to anybody. Raul Silva. I mean, I kind of feel like this doesn't need any explanation whatsoever. You know, when he comes down the elevator, that is mesmerizing. I mean, that is a mesmerizing. It's well written, it's well acted, it's well blocked. The fact that they time it so that as he's walking towards Bond, he's giving that monologue, and and now they only eat rat. Right as he's in Bond's. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing, and it just keeps on going. Like, at no point, like, you know, sometimes, you know, the actor's great in the beginning, but then the character is not written so great, so he sort of falls. Nope, all the way through, he is great. He's really, really good. The scene when he's captured, and he's speaking to M. You know, they tortured me. Oh my God, do I love that scene? And the scene, by the way, when he's sitting there, when he pulls up his scores, what did you score on your 40? You know, like, oh my God, I love that. Like, how does he pull that off?
No.
You're
living in a ruin and you don't even know it.
Just spectacular. I mean, I
know.
Like I said, I can't say much more than that. So
You're
that's
right.
my top 4.
Nice.
So we will. Now I'm curious to know your number 1, my friend.
All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. So my top 1, coming hot off the heels of your number 2, is also my number 1, Silva. It's Silva, and I'll tell you my reasoning why. If you check off all the boxes of what a great Bond villain does, you know, that dangerous, maniacal, a good plan, a good foil with Bond, all those things that I mentioned before, then you add to the fact that I quote this guy so much, and his monologues, his lines, the writing of him is amazing. He is so wonderfully written. Now, take out Bond franchise. He's just a wonderfully written bad guy. I mean, again, the whole grandmother thing, starting with a story about his grandmother. Who the F does that? I mean, that is just amazing. And the whole thing about no. Then the little interplay. I mean, this was within the first 5 minutes of meeting the bad guy. He starts to rub his legs and says, "Where's your training now? You know, you're trying to remember your training now, and you're living in a ruin too, and you don't even know it." Like all these things, I wind up like a total geek. Like all of us, 723 people we're all geeks. I quote it all the time. Silva is amazing. I wept as much as I did for M when he got killed. No, that's not true. But even the last rat standing, I mean, how much have we quoted that during this self-isolation? So, my number 1 is Silva. There it is. What about you, Joe?
I absolutely can't blame you there, needless to say. Mine, teeny bit of a cheat. I don't think so. Some people might think so. But my number 1 Bond villain is the Blofeld that appears in From Russia with Love, Thunderball, and For Your Eyes Only, right up until the Delicatessen line. Basically, my number 1 is the Blofeld that you see before before You Only Live Twice, before he comes out of the shadows. I think he is spectacular, and I think it goes to show you that, and it's very hard to have the payoff live up to the build up. Just watch any J.J. Abrams film, and you'll know that that's true. The build up is
Yeah.
oftentimes much more exciting and interesting than the payoff. But that thing that they did with Blofeld, just the stroking of the cat, he's got the ring on his finger, speaking, again, it's sort of become the thing of parody where, you screwed up, we kill you. He zaps the guy in the chair for screwing up and
Yeah.
possibly embezzling. I mean, I really think that and this even also translates to the books, by the way. I think if you read Raymond Benson's Union trilogy, I kind of felt like even there he built up this kind of shadowy bad guy. And again, it's odd. Even on the page, it sort of also works where the buildup is pretty amazing and the payoff is a struggle, I'll say. So yeah, I kind of feel like in some ways that was sort of like just the greatest Bond villain ever, was this secret guy who was always in the shadow, sinister times 10, and never actually. I almost feel like the second, and you only live twice. The second, what's his name, turns his head around. My name is Gustav Blofeld. I'm like that. The bubble just burst right there. So yeah, best kept in the shadows, and I think he was ultimately the best Bond villain.
That is a really good pick. And by the way, you did something that I kept fencing with when we do these top fives. It's more difficult than people think. Just try it. But one of the things I kept thinking about is, I got to do Goldfinger, because Goldfinger is an iconic bad guy. When people think bad guy and they think Goldfinger, and then you think Goldfinger. But then I started to waver away from that and said, I don't want to go for iconic, because iconic has almost become parody. It's almost become, I don't want a symbol of bad guys. I want an actual bad guy. So to me, Blofeld, I think, is a great pick, but it's almost like in the Goldfinger atmosphere of it's a bit of a symbol too at the same time.
It will be interesting, and we'll obviously talk about this going forward as we embark on this our top 5 series. It's funny, on my other podcast, the Reviews Without Remorse podcast, like I think my partner over there, I drive him a little nutty because we do a top 10 list, and I end up rattling off 30 something films. He's like, what the heck? I'm like, I got runners up, and I have also noted, and I have like just asterisks in the column. So I figured in terms of just trying to generate interesting content, we can kind of fudge the rules a little bit. But yeah,
yeah. All right. So Joe, thank you for that. By the way, this has been kind of a sneak peek of the type of interactions. They'll probably be a little bit smoother with, I mean, this was live. So, I mean, it's of course it's going to be smoother, but that's a sneak peek. Joe, thank you for that. Joe, we're going to have a little bit of a palate cleanser, because what we're going to do is we're now going to have you and I move to the chat. But before we do that, and I don't know, I guess we may be in split screen right now, which is totally fine to leave it like that. We are going to have a trivia contest. We have more prizes to give out. I know. Who knew? So everybody warm up. Let's take a break. Let's take a stretch. 7th inning stretch. We've literally hit the 1 hour mark. Let's stretch a little. Hashtag Bond 25 Fitness Challenge. Oh, just stretch. Kind of put it up to the line, to the left. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm gonna feel that later. Touch your toes. Get a drink if you want. Don't get a drink. And I'll tell you why. We're going to do a contest. Limber up those fingers. Get your keyboard muscles active, because here we go. And our next prize is from our friends at Olibar Brown. You know them, all right? So Olibar Brown and I discussed, what type of experience could we create? It wasn't for them just a prize. They didn't want to say, oh, okay, we're going to give somebody a pair of bathing suits or anything like that. Or no, they wanted to create an experience. So this is the prize everybody is now playing for. Get ready. The winner of this trivia contest, or the question, is going to win your choice of any one item from the new Heritage 007 line, and it hasn't even been released yet. So Olibar Brown will contact the winner, will tell you and show you what the heritage line is. You will choose something from that. They'll help you with your sizing, and you will get any one piece from the heritage line. This has not even been released yet. They paused the release because of the movie. They're going to release it closer, more than likely, to the movie. But one person on this live stream is not only going to get a sneak peek, they're going to get an item from this unreleased piece. It's crazy. And it could be any item you want. It's your choice. Okay, here's the question. Ready? And I don't need this. Oh boy, what are you doing, David? What do you mean you don't need your trivia list? You ready? This is going to be a quick one. Everybody get their fingers ready. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What is the safe word that I entered and mentioned at the beginning of this live stream? I said you're all operatives. There is a safe word in case things got scary, like now. What is that safe word? First person to put the safe word wins. Let's hope the answers are coming in soon. This is a big prize. It looks like Brett Penn may be the winner. I didn't even wait for Sheriff Pepper. Holy cow! You should see all the mangoes. It's like Trader Joe's. There are so many mangoes out there.
That's
Wow.
funny.
The mangoes are. I love how someone said cacao. Some of the funny ones are coming in too. Mango doesn't count. Ellipsis doesn't count. What's a mango? Pineapple doesn't count. Sorry. Holy crap! 1,000 people just answered.
That's funny.
I guess people wanted that prize. But we do have a winner. It slipped by very quickly. I even saw it because I'm watching the stream. So congratulations to the winner. That is an insane prize. And by the way, we do have one more trivia contest and prize, but we're going to save it for towards the end. Right now, Mango Madness says Edgar. Edgar, what's going on? My boy Edgar from James Bond Complex. That boy is Edgar from James Bond Complex. So we're having a silly time today. I hope you are too. I hope everybody's been relaxing and having fun. You know, Joe and I, when we set upon this journey, I had approached Joe and I said, you know, it'd be great to connect with the Bond community. And we started to build this agenda and we tweaked it and planned it. And there's a lot that goes into this. And Joe's been amazing. This would have been me talking with a bad camera. But we want to now go to you. All right. So I'm looking at the live stream and I'd like to hear your questions or topics that you would like to talk about. While you start to think of some, I'm going to be right back. I need to get something. Ya-da-da-dee, ya-da-da-da, ya-da-da-dee, ya-da-da-da. Okay, I'm coming back. All right, I'm back. So, first of all, I had to get a glass. I feel like I'm teasing Joe because he's got nothing in his house. And I have,
The champagne of beers, no
ladies
less.
and gentlemen, Miller High Life, the champagne of beer, given to me as a gift from Easy Smiles and, what's it? Easy Smiles and Beautiful Watches? What is it?
Easy smiles and expensive watches.
Kyle. Expensive watches. Kyle gave me this as a gift. And by the way, do you know where Miller High Life and Miller Life is shown in the Bond movies?
I don't know actually. Oh boy. Nice.
They're not. It's in the book.
All right, okay.
Hold on. How's that for a bottle opener?
How's that for a punchline?
All right. How's that for a punchline? I got to fill up my glass. By the way, Miller Life, it's a good Bond beer.
Yeah.
It's a good beer when you're having only 1,000. All right. So we've got some questions in. We've got some things coming in from people. All right. We got a question about the Frugal Bond. When are you going to be having more Frugal Bond? Great question. We are going to have some more Frugal Bond, but there actually is some individuals, iconic alternatives. You've got that one Bond guy, and you've got literally an Instagram called the Frugal Bond. I think it's called the Frugal Bond. It's been a long day already. Who are doing some amazing things, but I will be having some more Frugal Bond moments. And there was another question about when am I going to show this tuxedo in more detail? All those videos we're filming over the next few days. So I wanted to get this under my belt, and then I will be doing them. Cheers. Cheers to everybody.
Was it Slancha you're thinking about?
Slancha, thank you.
Our brothers in Ireland are not going to forgive me for that one.
No shit. Uh, David Gould says, "How is the Aston Martin running?" It is running well. We've had some unseasonably warm weather, 60s and the 65s, and I do try to take it out and blow the dust off of it and out of it, and it's one of those things that it's still an experience every single time I drive it. So thank you for asking about that. Joe, someone asked, "What are the rumors of the new shoot of the reshoot?" Talk to us about the rumors of the
Oh
reshoot.
boy, I have no more information than anybody, so I think what have I heard? Yeah, I don't know anything. But I've heard people argue in favor and against the possibility. Some people have said, yeah, they're gonna do reshoots, and other people are like, nope, that film is in the can, it is done. So
Yeah. We'll find out.
yeah,
Joe, what was the last? Someone asked, what was the last Bond film you watched?
last one I watched. Um,
For me, it was Skyfall in Toronto with you.
There you go. I did watch. I watched Quantum at home recently because Scott and I watched it so we could do our review of it, which is coming out soon, I swear. So yeah, I think that was the last one I watched at home. But yeah, boy, that Skyfall in Toronto on the big screen was pretty spectacular. What an experience that was.
Tim Hands wants to know if we would ever do audio commentaries for some of the movies, like literally, like turn on the movie and just do like a
Like a Mystery Science Theater version where we're just more.
Yeah, yeah. That's an
I've had
idea.
people ask me about that. That could possibly be interesting. Yeah, I mean, I would have to sort of. It'd be interesting because your natural tendency is to be quiet during a movie, as opposed to just
It's true.
just heckling as much as you possibly can.
And we're gonna go rapid fire, Joe. So from
Yeah,
Taylor's with Love wants to know, what is that? Peter Brooker,
never heard of
Matt Spazer. Yeah, never heard of them. Joe, how's the second book coming along? Oh,
him. Buzzing. You could throw in now that you have a little free time, Joe. You feel like writing that book, maybe?
Come on, give us a date, man. Give us a date.
Yeah.
When is it?
I think it could definitely be pretty soon now that we got a little free time. It's funny how this last week I got bit busier than I've been in a while getting ready for this this live stream, which is a lot of fun, by the way. But yeah, I think we're gonna.
What? By the way, we have a question. What do we think Madeline's secret is, if she has a secret? I think it's that Safin and her were either raised together or could they be brother sister? I don't know. There's some emotional connection between Safin and Madeline that she didn't tell Bond about. That's what I think the secret is.
I think it's I think it's more of a relationship where Safin did her a favor early on, and now she's more or less made a bargain with the devil, and now he's gonna come calling for payback. That's what I think.
By the way, this is great. Max H wants to know, I need the help of you two unbelievable Bond fans. He must be talking to somebody else. I wanted to go to No Time to Die with a girl, was too shy to go out with. Before and after the film, I wanted to visit a party. Should I repeat this?
Oh wait, say that again. What's the question now?
I couldn't possibly. I couldn't possibly. Should we just say yes, do that?
He wanted to bring a girl to a party before and after the film?
Yeah. So yeah, bring that girl to the film. But don't let your geek flag fly too soon. Wait till the wine kicks in. That one Bond guy, we know him, we love him, says, "What is your favorite Bond community book?" He's asking both of us, like a fan made book. So I'm not going to say Joe's because that would be pandering. I'm going to say the two, and I know I'm going to piss people off, but I have two. AJ Chowdhury's book, Some Kind of Hero, and Mark O'Connell did an amazing Catching Bullets. So those are my two favorites.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm going to piss somebody off by saying that. But
well, those are the first two that came to my mind as well. I mean, honestly, and AJ's is I mean, it's not even a book. I mean, it's a manifesto. I mean, it is an encyclopedia on the world of the making of the film. So it is tremendous, and it's interesting that he specified Bond fan book, like as if it's a little more unofficial or something. It's interesting. I wonder if I had other options that maybe like I know Nicholas Suchek did. He's been cranking out books on the Brosnan years, which are great. So yeah, a lot of I tell you, a lot of good stuff out there.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, here's a good one. Somebody says, any thoughts on Spy? Oh, Ian 20X. Any thoughts on Spyscape here in New York City? I like Spyscape. I think you got the Bond attribute, plus you got, real world spy stuff. It's a nice mix. If you go to Spyscape, go on Friday night. They have a martini and missions night with actually really good food and martinis, and it's all you can eat and martinis and Bond and spies, and it's like $50, which if you're taking a significant other, if you're just going by yourself, it's amazing. Joe, we got to go back again once this thing lifts.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. We definitely need to. And by the way, I now that I wanted to mention another book. By the way, check out the OHMSS 50 book by Martine Mulder and Sasha Braun about the trip.
Yes.
Awesome, very cool,
By the
great
by
photos.
the way, Chris Johnson has a great point. Chris Johnson says AJ and Matthew Field wrote it. I mentioned AJ because AJ is a friend, but
Yeah.
Matthew Field, who's done a lot of things on the Italian Job, a lot of things with Mason and
Mm.
Sons. Matthew is the consummate author and expert. So Matthew, forgive me. Uh, it's the Miller High Life. By the way, great questions, Andreos. Poor Andreos 17 keeps asking this. Do you know any of the new factory entertainment props? I do not. They actually have not shared with me hand on heart, but they've hinted heavily in one of my videos, and I believe they will be doing the Safin mask, and maybe different versions, maybe the whole mask, the oh, Murray Gillespie just spilled wine on Mark O'Connell's book. Murray, how much wine did you have to drink that you're spilling wine already, brother? Murray Gillespie from James Bond Canada, who you may be seeing on this live stream. Anything's possible, right, Joe?
It's very possible.
Joe, this one's for you. Can you give a shout out to AJB, please? AJB.
AJB, one of the greatest Bond websites ever. Very smart people who know their craft and the ins and outs of James Bond. I think it is a spectacular website, and I go there often. Very smart people who post there.
And I would say ditto. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's actually a very, when we say Bond community, it's a very community atmosphere that seems to be very supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And James Bond Netherlands said, "No, Murray, what did you do? You're it. I know, right? Why did I asked Murray. The only thing I asked is, Murray, drink white wine tonight because you are going to spill. And what does he do? He brings the
and
Wolfgang.
the book
Where's
Catching
Wolfgang?
Bullets actually spoke out. I didn't even know a book could do that. It said, "Take away the day wine, Murray."
Oh, the day wine is the best wine,
Isn't it
though. It's
though?
just the best wine of
Yeah.
all. All right, what's the best book to start with? So if we were to start with a fan book, this is not like Ian Fleming, but somebody's book to start reading about Bond. Yeah, you've got a whole cabinet behind you. Why don't you take this one, Joe?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, that's a great question. I tell you what, I have to. I would still have to give it to AJ's book because honestly, you know, this is this is the first volume I got. It's been since updated and I have it on paperback. But this sucker, I mean, I've had this. My girlfriend got me this for Christmas, and I took one look at this and I just went, boy, that's intimidating. Like I was terrified to even. I mean, this is like the War and Peace of James Bond. But I swear to you, once you start going through it, it's so breezy. And honestly, I was not even in a hurry to read it because I thought for sure. I said I must know all that stuff. I know my Bond stuff. He's very careful not to retread familiar territory. It's all fresh. It's a great read. So I would definitely check that one out.
All right, Joe. Lorenzo, our friend Lorenzo, who's
Lorenzo
on Instagram, who does a bunch of Lorenzo, who does live streams. I'm calling out to him. He wants to know what is our favorite Bond song.
song.
And I will start
God.
first. For me, it is Thunderball, only because it's not only a great representation of a movie that I really love and feel nostalgic about, but I love Thunderball because when I think about what captures Bond, being very capable, running when others walk, to
Yeah.
me, Thunderball is the quintessential Bond song. What about you?
You know what? I tell you what. I love that answer, and I will give. I'll tell you what. I'll pick two because it's so. Boy, is it hard to just pick one. One is No One Does It Better. And I feel like that's one that we've heard probably so often, and they use it so often for like these little tribute videos. We take it for granted, but boy, is that a great song, and it's such a nice tribute to Bond. But I think my personal favorite, probably right about now, You Know My Name. I, crank that one
Oh,
nice and
yeah.
loud as we're driving. Love that one.
All right. So Wolfgang mentions a really good book for those starting, which I agree with. Raymond Benson's Bedside
All right.
Companion. Amazing book. Raymond is a great guy. He's a fan and he's a professional. He's one of those few illustrious people that crossed over to both. And so, Wolfgang, thank you for that. Oh, Catching Bullets. Remember, I was a Bond fan? A View to a Kill. Catching Bullets is on.
Catching Bullets
Hey,
loves The
Mark.
View to a
Hey,
Kill.
Mark.
Don't say bad words about
Oh,
View
that
to
was
a
great.
Kill when Catching Bullets is around.
Oh,
And
hold on a second. Derek Priano has one that I want to take. Worst Bond car of all time. Worst Bond car. And I'm going to say it's the Ford. Is it the Focus? What's the one he drives on the way to the one and
it's like
only club?
Matera or whatever. What does he call it? I know. Yeah.
Well, the Ford, but it's called the Ford
Yeah.
something.
Somebody will
To
tell us. I
me,
agree.
yeah, it's like I get it. He was in disguise. So
Even if they're gonna give Bond a rental car, at least give him something a little snazzy. I mean, that thing stinks of rental car.
Joe, this one's for you. Ruben Wakeman, who Ruben does Toys of Bond, does the most incredible
Yes.
artwork. He did one for me, but he's done one for every movie and people. He is the most generous guy. He's way too generous. When you think about the Bond community, you think about generosity. Ruben Wakeman's face comes up, and then a series of other people. But he has a question for you. So the community member interviews. Who's coming up? Any collectors?
Collectors.
I'm gonna say, Ruben, I want you on. I want to get Ruben on a
I
Skype. I'm taking Ruben. Who do you take? I got Ruben.
I tell you what, I have to really give it a thought. By the way, yesterday in all the commotion, I literally almost forgot to post my Friday interview, and I interviewed Matt Spazer finally. We finally got our
Oh,
schedules lined up. Yes, some guy just does something called the Suits of James Bond and From Tailors with Love. Oh my
oh,
God! So we
oh.
got to talk yesterday, and again, it was such a flurry yesterday. I didn't even post my little Instagram. I will. But yeah, who's next? I'm kind of in the middle of interviewing a couple of the up and comers, which I'm kind of going to combine into sort of an you'll see when it comes out. Collectors, though, I tell
By
you,
the
I'm
way,
open to suggestions for interviews. By the way, send them in.
yeah, send him into being James Bond at box office six six two nine
Yeah,
five eight
but
two. By the
yeah.
way, I do want to pause for a second because oh, you're going to say something, Joe?
Well,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I saw Colin Blake asking us to give Cue the Music a mention, which I certainly
Oh,
wanted to do because you know
please do.
this whole crisis we've been talking. I mean, we've all been talking ad nauseum about it and the effects it's going to have, and small businesses are going to get hit hardest, fastest. And Cue the Music. If you guys have not contributed to their GoFundMe to try to keep their people afloat while we weather this, definitely check them out because Cue the Music is I really I don't want to overstate it. But they really are just a gift to the community. They're a commodity, and they're so great to have as part of our community, and so we want to keep them going, even in a purely selfish way. I want to see them play again. So
Yeah. And Joe, I think it's a good segue because, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, um, this is phenomenal. It's so much fun. It brings us together even for a moment. If any of you are in a very fortunate situation, like myself, like Joe, where we're still gainfully employed even throughout this time, if there is a way to, number one, obviously patronize, a small brand or an individual, like obviously Warren Ringham and Cue the Music, or any of our friends that are small businesses or they're entertainers, please do during this time. It's not charity.
mm,
It's not. It is truly giving. And we would all give of ourselves. And some of us are fortunate enough to give of just a little bit more. If you do not have something to give, reach out to them. The worst thing that you could do during this time is to ghost somebody. I hate that. Ghosting or keeping quiet, or you hear somebody loses their job, and suddenly you're like, oh, they don't want to hear things about Bond. They don't want to hear me reach out to them. Actually, they do. They want to hear you more than ever. This is where you've got to be for them. If you want to be a rainy day friend, fine. But please, I'm asking you to reach out. So we're going to segue to something very special. I did something a couple of weeks ago where, realizing that the Bond community is monstrous. I mean, look how many people we have watching now. And I reached out to a few content creators. I'm using that terminology. I'm not using influencer anymore. You really all hate influencers. Content creators in the Bond community. And I asked them something very simple. I said, I'm doing this live stream. If you have the time, I know it's crazy. I know you've got work and you've got kids screaming in the background and you're super busy and it's life. Life is in the way. Put together a 2-minute video, just a 2-minute video of what are you doing during this crisis? Give people hope, make them laugh, give them some information, give them an idea of what to do. So it is right now here. It's 3:30. I want everybody, because this is the last time you're going to hear Joe and I actually talk live. We are now going to show you a movie. I want you to stay till the very end. I'm actually asking you to stay to the very end, because 27 individuals from all around the world put together something very special that I want everybody to watch. It's a very special movie. It has highs, it has lows, it has sadness, it has happiness, it has humor, but I want you to watch it to the very end. Joe, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for really just, running tech and operations today.
Anytime. I hope we've raised the bar on these live streams, and we will have to, as things progress, as we have more time to wait for the film, and hopefully not too much more time being stuck inside. But who knows at this point? We got to do what we got to do to make sure this thing goes away. But
yeah,
hopefully we'll do this again, because honestly, this was tremendous, frankly, and I'm still kind of in awe of how many people joined us today. I mean, that's telling. That's pretty amazing.
It's amazing, and I'm going to leave everybody with a single thought before we go to the film. There is a gentleman out there named Morten, who is James Bond Magnusette, or James Bond Norway, or Son of Norway, as I call him. And Morten told me several months ago, he goes, you know what his favorite hashtag is? It's hashtag be kind. Just be kind. We're going to hit lows. We're going to hit moments where we disagree with each other. Some are going to have different philosophies. Some are going to have different politics. Some are going to focus on fashion, and some are going to focus on Ian Fleming's books. And that's okay. Be kind. Be kind to each other. I know it sounds very granola, but I love Morton's hashtag be kind. I want all of us to try to adopt it. And with that, and without further ado, Joe, if you could cue the movie, let's do it.
Got it. Enjoy, everybody.
Take care.
Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome. We wanted to really take a trip around the world, but I know we are confined within a certain amount of space, not supposed to leave our homes, so we're not going to, but we're going to invite a lot of other people into your homes right now. Let's hear from those individuals.
From the 00 Files.
And my name is Mika, his son.
And here are our 7 tips to get you through the months easily until the premiere of No Time to Die.
Finished. Guess we'll start with Silver Finnegan.
Kill Bond! Kill Bond now! Right, what do you have? No! Ah, 2 pair!
We hope our tips will help.
Good luck, everybody. Bye-bye!
Hi everybody, hi David, everybody at Operation Stay at Home, welcome. My name is Remmert van Braam. I run the Bond Lifestyle website, jamesbondlifestyle.com. I started the website in 2005 to make a guide to products seen in James Bond movies and related James Bond merchandise. And over the years, the site has grown. So has the community, the friends, the people I knew, people I met, and many thanks to David and the people at AJB Forum and Simon, Ben, AJ, Mark O'Connell, Joe, so many more people, everybody from all over the world, from Brazil, Norway, Sweden, Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, where I'm from. It's a big online community, and I wish we could have all met in London next week, for the movie, but of course we can't, so here we are online trying to connect. So staying home, everybody is trying to do their best. I'm trying to do my best, spending some good time with my family, working on the website as much as I can here and there, and I find myself looking back at the old movies. Probably many as you do as well. We've done a lot with No Time to Die the last few months, long months, years actually. So it's a good time to look back and rewatch some of those old movies. There's a lot of things I still need to add. I'm finding new products. Lately I've been looking at Timothy Dalton again and Pierce Brosnan. Of course, great Bond actors and movies actually, and so many more items still in movies that I need to add to the website. So that's what I'm doing right now. Soon I'm giving away some more prizes in contests because I know it's been way too long. Stay with me, there'll be more. And I hope you are all able to do the stuff that you want. I hope you and your family are well and healthy. Keep it that way, stay safe, and all the best.
Hey 007 fans, JW here from James Bond Radio, the music at Bond. First and foremost, I'm wishing you, your families, and all your loved ones good health. I would encourage 2 things. 1, don't pass judgment. And 2, listen to what other people are saying. Find whatever it is you need to get through this global tragedy. And I mean whatever. God, half a Xanax, glass of white wine. Let me share with you 2 things that I'm embracing outside of love, of course, that are helping me through these dangerous days. First and foremost, the books. We all complain about not having enough time to read. Are you kidding me? Start from the beginning, make your way through. They're all here. Return to Fleming, Return to Fleming. Look how sexy this box set is, by the way. My God, I just want to put it on my pillow, whisper sweet nothings. 2, surprise, surprise, the films. Dr. No, The Spectre, 1 film a night. Let's start a Zoom chat. Let's talk about these films. I mean, it's all here. Between these 2 things, these are my truths. I mean, I just lead with love. Give love, get love. You know, purpose over panic. Lead with your heart. After we kick this coronavirus in the ass, and more importantly, after we finish helping all those who have been who've just been affected deeply on so many different levels. After we finish helping those people, what we have waiting for us on the other side is a new James Bond film. and I cannot wait to meet you guys in November. So until then, be kind to each other, read the books, watch the movies, reach out to me and say hello, but above all, keep bonding. See you in November.
Good afternoon, James Bond fans. It's Murray from James Bond Canada. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone is staying happy, healthy during the whole stay-at-home corona thing. So I thought I would tell you what I have been up to lately. So first of all, I want to let you guys know that it is an awesome, beautiful day here in Vancouver. So if you manage to get outside, I hope you get to enjoy yourselves. As you can see, the magnolia trees are blooming across the street. So the one thing that's really, really awesome is, look at those. Aren't they beautiful? So gorgeous. I love living here in Vancouver. See those beautiful magnolia trees. So when you do need to get outside, at least it's nice weather. Now back to what I've been doing. Obviously working from home, as you can see, very, 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 very busy. I've got my laptop out. I think it is, though, time perhaps for an afternoon cocktail. So we'll just hook us up with a little Bond Belvedere. We're going to carry that around, and I think I'm going to carry this straight over to the poker table. I've been practicing my poker skills. Only problem is I haven't learned yet how to check and then raise after the flop comes Tower, Wheel of Fortune, and Lovers after you're holding a suited connector. So that's kind of a problem for me, but I'm going to see if I can fix that. And then there's over to this little project here. Unfortunately, I still have 2 bags left. Right now it kind of looks like the Aston Martin that James left for Q in the last movie. He did say bring back one piece. Well, I've got a lot more than one piece to do right now. There's no wheels and no trunk. I've been catching up on some movies. And I've been also trying to organize my bookshelf. There's a whole lot of awesome books up here from Bond fans everywhere, and Bond influencers and Bond community, and it's a great thing to have a little extra time on your hands. So I'm going to bid you all a fond adieu. I hope you have a great day. Hope you stay safe. Looking forward to Operation Stay at Home tomorrow. Cheers. Oh my God. Oh.
Hi everyone, I'm Corey.
And I'm Danielle from another James Bond podcast.
And Budget Bond.
We just wanted to give you guys a recap on what we've been up to in the whole self-isolation coronavirus deal. We're both working probably more than most people.
Probably more than usual.
Yeah, we'd like to be off with everybody else, but we can't, so.
We're actually pretty fortunate. We still have jobs, and we realize that not a lot of people do right now, so we're pretty happy with that. But honestly, our routine's pretty much the same as usual. It's work and then podcast work.
Yeah, so we've got another James Bond podcast, which you should definitely check out.
And we also have Crime and Mystery Canada.
I show up on that from time to time as well.
Mm-hmm. I allow you on sometimes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think.
Other than that, we have been doing okay. Not going stir crazy. The only time it's really strange is the commute to work, which is really short.
Yeah, we saved a lot of time. There's no traffic.
None at all. And also, I guess it's like that for everyone when you do have to go out. It's just sort of like a ghost town everywhere right now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We don't live in a small town either, so it's amazing to see empty streets and no traffic.
For sure. It's a first.
Yeah.
Did you want to do a shout out?
Sure. I wanted to do a shout out to, from Tailors with Love, Matt and Pete. Thank you for keeping me entertained at work. Also, newly to David and the Bond Experience podcast. 1 episode so far, but looking forward to those. Joe Darlington on Being James Bond. Also keeping me entertained at work. Thank you very much. The guys at JBR. And I want to say hi to Lorenzo. Hope you're doing good.
Hi, Lorenzo.
Amen. You got anything else?
No, I think that's all. We hope everyone is keeping safe and not going too crazy stuck at home.
Yeah. Everybody's kind of going with the Bond Fitness Challenge. And yeah, keep going. We'll see you all soon.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.
Night.
Hey everybody, this is Bobby from Matched Perfectly on Instagram. It's a site I run with my wife, that's mostly travel and fashion related, but heavily influenced by Bond and the Bond lifestyle. Yeah, like you guys, I've had to stay at home, been working from home. Kind of a crazy time right now, but definitely watching a lot of Bond movies, doing some Bond reading. I know, like that was mentioned on the last episode of JBR, always a good idea to return to Fleming when in doubt. So I've been digging into that, been listening to one of my favorite Fleming novels, Live and Let Die. Favorite of mine for sure, part of that set, really close to my hometown here in St. Pete, Florida. So not too far from St. Pete myself, so it's always cool reading that and listening to Fleming's point of view on that. You know, it's an interesting time, and it's great seeing how the community has really come together. And, you know, with the disappointment of No Time to Die getting bumped, and, you know, with all of the product launches, the Orville Bar Brown getting bumped, and, you know, some of that we were all looking forward to, you know, it's great coming together. And I know when that movie does launch, when November does roll around, all that energy we have is going to be put into that and put forward. And, you know, it's great, David, all that you have done. You know, it's like, I'm convinced that you don't sleep. So it's been great seeing all the reviews you have and keeping the momentum going. So, you know, very much appreciated. Stay safe, everybody. And, you know, hopefully we'll see you guys come November. Take care.
Yep. Boring. Yeah, I need to do something. Let's get creative. There's plenty to do. Got this book, this James Bond role-playing book that I can finally finish. But you know, I do deserve a drink. Ugh, not much left in this bottle. Let's finish this whiskey. Still good. Even to the last drop. Yeah, last drop. But not the last bottle. I made some reserves, some more whiskey. Cheers. Now, other things I had to do, clean up my collection. It's been gathering dust, so let's polish it, make it nice, and make it look good. Yep. No, and more reading. Yeah. Learning new skills in spycraft this time. And some albums to listen to, some good music. Yep. And plenty of Bond books of all kinds. Yep. If that's not enough, there's still the good old, reliable Fleming material you can find everywhere. Oh! The Blu-rays, 24 movies, plenty of special features. More than enough.
Hi, this is Matt from the James Bond Complex. I hope everyone's doing great. I've personally just been put into a preventive quarantine leave, so I'm at home right now. I do have some plans. I do have things that need to be done. There's plenty of artwork that I promised people that I'm going to be working on. I got some editing, video, and audio, and I have a personal project, a comic book I've been working on. I'll be able to, it's completely not Bond related, but I'll be able to work on that. I hope everyone stays safe, wash your hands, keep your distance, and, this will all blow over. November will come, and No Time to Die will be released. Now, I do need to introduce Edgar. I'm not too sure how well he's been doing. I really shot some videos, so I'll cut his video right after this one. For now, though, on se revoit à la prochaine.
Hello, my name is Edgar Chaput, and I'm one of the co-hosts of the James Bond Complex podcast, the show where we discuss, rejoice, and analyze in the James Bond phenomenon in all its shapes and forms, from Fleming to the films, and everything in between. We have many things planned over the weeks to come. In fact, our back catalog is quite extensive. We drop episodes every Wednesday on a weekly basis at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that will not change during this COVID-19 quarantine episode that we're all experiencing right now, and probably for still a few weeks to come. So rest assured the James Bond Complex has you covered. We're going to be just fine. As for me personally, I'm doing great. This is a week into the quarantine. I've been working at home. No, I've barely spoken to a soul for about a week right now, but that's okay. I still have friends here. We got Ernst, Jaws, we got Roger, and we have Sean. You might even say they're my new best friends. We're getting along just swell. What's that, guys? Oh, you want me to pick a card? Well, you want to play that game? Okay, I'm feeling good about this. Let's see. Ooh, Solitaire's cards. Let's see here. This is the one. This is the one. I know it. Very funny, guys. Very, very funny. Okay. Oh, you want to play again? All right, sure. Ha! I have the advantage this time. The official James Bond Complex playing cards. Now I know I have a good feeling about this. Let's see. Yeah. That's how you want to do it, huh? I can put you back in your boxes any moment. You know that, right? We're spending the next few weeks together. The chapter where James Bond gets his thunderballs rocked. My favorite chapter. Anyways, take care, guys. I have some reading to do.
I was curious who Zaritsky would send.
He's on to you.
Well, we know where you stand. Just make sure you keep it at 6 feet.
I'm standing in your doorway.
Turn around and go home. You can tell him I'm self-quarantined.
That's it? Go home?
I didn't ask for no time to die to be delayed.
It's too late for that.
Why did you give all your toilet paper to the Bond experience?
He told me he loved me.
Always sounds good.
Do you know I used to look in the papers every day for your obituary?
Well, sorry I keep disappointing you. That's why I'm doing this whole social distancing thing.
What was it, James? Did I get too close? Did I get too close for comfort?
Yes! Back off, lady! 6 feet! 6 feet!
Hi everyone, hello David. This is Jort van Valk from James Bond Netherlands reporting for duty. James Bond Netherlands was founded back in 2006 between myself and Marlijn Kuiper. We now have 10 editors writing for us about James Bond in book and movie form. We also make video productions about this car, for instance, at Gallery Aldering here in our country, and go to various locations, for instance, Shieldhorn Prince Gloria for Her Majesty's Secret Servants, or Casino Royale in Karlovy Vary, Czech Republic. The coronavirus hit us all very hard, globally and also in our country. So keep your distance and stay safe. I say that once. It's good that they have postponed the movie until November. When you are at a cinema, for instance, you can contaminate everyone there, so it spreads very wildly at a high rate. The box office results would be devastated. For instance, when the cinemas are closed, so you can't make any money. If they had continued to release the film, they didn't make any money at all, and there might not be a James Bond film anymore in the future. So, stay safe, stay at home, listen to your government, keep a distance, 1.5 meters here, I heard it's 6 feet in America. So, stay healthy, carry on, and keep the British end up around James Bond. Bye everyone.
John Broughton with Bespoke JB here. Some of the things that I've been working on since the COVID-19 shutdown is, with some help of my family members, been working to make these cloth-based surgical masks. Our healthcare heroes are soon going to need these. I've also been working on a new product called the Pocket Round. It's not a square, it's not a rectangle, it is a circle. And the beauty of that, because it is cut partly on the bias, is that you can get some really cool effects, because part of the fabric tends to curve up that you wouldn't normally get with cotton and linen. And with some of the contrast piping that I'll be doing on the Pocket Rounds, you can get some really cool effects with shirt and tie combinations. We're also doing it in silk, so you'll again get some really nice cool effects. As you know, the Bond film No Time to Die has been pushed back to November, and I know a lot of people are kind of frustrated at it. For me, I've waited this long, I can wait a few more months. As I always say, stay sharp, but more importantly, stay safe.
Hey, Jay Sadowski here for James Bond Classified. That is my Instagram page. On that page, I post pretty much anything James Bond related that interests me, from the movies, the books, fitness, clothing, pretty much anything. So we got a lot of time on our hands between now and November, or now Operation Stay at Home. We're all going to be home for a while. I have a 7-year-old German Shepherd, keeps me pretty active. I do P90X, so I'm always out there. Me and my wife are hiking. We're both physical fitness people, so we're always doing stuff like that. Maybe pick up, start reading the Fleming books. Go through the movies again. I know my friend Kyle from Easy Smile and Expensive Watches just went through the whole movie circuit. You know, and besides, who says staying at home is such a bad thing?
Your martini?
Oh. I think I could get used to this staying at home. Jay Sadowski, James Bond Classified. Make it a great day.
Make it a great day.
Hi. 3 meters back, please. 3 meters back, ma'am. Hi, I'm Mark O'Connell, author, writer, Bond commentator, and I also wrote Catching Bullets, Memoirs of a Bond Fan, which apparently the World Health Organization has just put on their new book group. Isn't that useful? They haven't, by the way, they haven't. So how are we all doing? I don't know how I'm doing. I go through phases. This is the first time I've actually washed and got ready and clean for what feels like 42 months. Yeah, on day 3, which I don't even remember when day 3 was, I kind of thought, no, I can do this. I was sitting back with a red stripe beer. I was like Connery in Jamaica. And then by day 5, I ended up feeling a bit like Roger Moore in The Centrifuge in Moonraker. Although, as we all know right now, try finding a 70-year-old, because there isn't one round, because they should all be self-isolating. But what did I do? I thought I could go for a picnic and I would take my packed lunch and we'd go to the park, but the government stopped that. And then I thought, well, it's feeling like we've been stuck indoors like the 80s. It feels like I've been grounded and I can't go off and play on my bike with my mates. So I thought, right, I'm going to watch VHS Bond films, because guess what? They're worse than DVDs. But then, no, after a while, I just thought, right, no, I'm going to do something serious here. So I've always been slightly flattening the curve, but I'm actually serious here. I'm thinking of getting some abs. You know, I'm going to try and get that Daniel Craig Quantum of Solace body. I'll probably end up with the Connery Vegas body. I know I will. I'll look like a slightly sort of melted trifle. But I'm thinking seriously of passing the time with some proper exercise. And in the meantime, watch Bond films. And more importantly, watch Bond films with an eye on watching other things. Like, for example, if you love John Barry, who doesn't love John Barry? Watch a film that he did that wasn't Bond. Watch a Terence Young film that wasn't a Bond film. Watch a Sam Mendes film that wasn't a Bond film. Watch a Kerry Fukunaga film that isn't now a Bond film. But yeah, just fill our time with good things. We're all going to be here for each other. This has barely started. I feel we're only just at the gun barrel stage of this coronavirus thing. But we will get there. We will get to end credits, because guess what? Not only will James Bond return, but we will return.
Good evening, Mr. Bond fans. Calvin Dyson here of the Calvin Dyson YouTube channel, reporting in for Operation Stay at Home. So first of all, if you're watching this, I hope that you and your loved ones are well and healthy and coping well in this strange new world we find ourselves living in. It's crazy to think that just a few months ago we thought that we would be within touching distance of a new Bond film now, but quite understandably it has been pushed back to later in the year, and you know, maybe it's not so bad if you're like me and you kind of enjoy the hype and the build-up and the anticipation of a new Bond film. Personally, I'm in isolation in London right now, and I'm spending my days working from home and making new content, making new videos for YouTube, which is something that I really enjoy doing. So I hope that you are also finding something productive to do in the copious spare time we all have now trapped inside. But, you know, November will come like that, and when it gets here, I'm sure we're all going to make a big splash when the new film comes out. Speaking of big splash, that reminds me, I have some business to take care of. Looks like I'm on a roll. Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad.
Good evening. Operation Stay at Home. This is Jeff Weibel here of James Bond Canada. Thank you for having me on this channel right now. It's been, a tough time for all of us. We're stuck at home, but thankfully we have the Bond community to get us through it, because if it wasn't for you guys, none of this would be even fun, just hanging out with Bond on our own. So thank you guys so much. You guys have been a blast around the world hanging out with you guys. What I'm known for is obviously running James Bond Canada, but also a lot of my travel and some of my social media. So I'd love for you guys to follow our social media accounts, follow Jeff Weibel and James Bond Canada. But what will I be doing to pass the time? Still trying to work a bit, but catching up on a lot of Bond reading right now. Trying to keep the martinis to the least amount as possible, maybe a couple, but I'm going to be reading tonight Live and Let Die's graphic novel here, so finally got some time to get back to Bond reading, because I'm not allowed to go outside right now. Well, you can kind of go outside, but yeah, that's what I'm doing, reading Bond, and I really appreciate all you guys, and we'll see you guys later. Oh, sorry. Cheers.
Hey everyone, Emery here from the Intrepid 007 podcast. You can find me on Instagram, and I am the host of a weekly podcast that talks about James Bond and all things spycraft with a little bit of a hint on Canada. For the last couple of weeks now, we've been kind of stuck at home with the cancellations and everything, so I've been keeping busy trying to keep up with the hashtag Bond25 fitness challenge and keeping up with my collection. I wish everyone well. I wish everyone to stay safe. I will be occupying your eyes and ears with podcasts and video content, so count on me to be there for you guys in these times of troubles. Thank you guys.
Hello, Operation Stay at Home. I'm Ray Crumpold from the Bond Armor YouTube and Instagram channel. I review the practicality, use, and function of James Bond's weapons, firearms, and tactical gear. My day-to-day life, I'm an EMT firefighter, so I'm still out there trying to do my part to make sure everybody stays safe and healthy. When I'm home, though, me and my family are doing the same thing as you guys. We quarantine inside, and it's actually a lot like a James Bond film. Manipulation.
Daddy?
Yeah, babe.
Can I have a cookie?
There's surprises around every corner. Hey, on. This says that PPK's had magazine releases on the bottom, not just the side. That's weird. Some really high-pressure situations. Don't wake up, 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 don't wake up. There's foot chases. And then, of course, I have my Bond girl.
No.
So yeah, when I'm home, I'm pretty much James Bond. Anyway, I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands. Don't worry, we will all get through this, and we will see each other in November.
Hello, my name is Morten Stengrimsen, and I am the editor of the Norwegian James Bond magazine, or just simply James Bond Norway. I hope that everyone is safe and healthy. I think the best message I can give is, do everything you can in order to avoid spreading the virus, and together we can beat it. I don't know if most of the viewers know me, so a little introduction. I've been a very big Bond fan since I saw Goldeneye in 1995. After that, I have written a book about the subject of James Bond, written many articles covering events all around the world, and also organized several big Bond events here in Oslo with guests like George Lazenby, Britt Ekland, and Sir Ken Adam. As most of you, I've spent much of my time inside the last weeks, which is important. And since I work as a film journalist, I've actually had some very busy weeks because I've had to write a lot of articles. But I've also had some extra time. So I have rewatched some of my favorite Bond-related movies. And I've always been a very big fan of Michael Caine and the Harry Palmer movies. So I just had to rewatch the Ipcress File the other day, and it's a movie that I, can watch many, many times. It's one of the big British classics from the 1960s. And I also rewatched, I believe this is the third one in the series, if I'm not mistaken. And Billion Dollar Brain is also it's not as good as the Ipcress File, but it's still a very watchable movie. I also saw the Thomas Crown Affair the other day, and I think it's actually Pierce Brosnan's best performance outside the Bond movies. I really like. It's entertaining, it's funny, and also a lot of suspense. It's a very perfect movie. And if you haven't seen it already, I would also recommend to watch Outland with Sean Connery. It's a very underrated science fiction film with Connery, and just cool to see Connery in a science fiction movie. So I hope that you continue to be safe and healthy, and before you know it, we'll meet again.
Guys, this is Bud West with the Bond Brain Podcast, and what am I doing with all this downtime? Well, I'm still researching Bond Brain topics for the podcast, and I'm going to keep cranking that stuff out. I'm going to have some guests on board, so tune in on iTunes or Podbean or Spotify. One of the other things I'm doing is building my Bond Brain lair. A lot of guys have man caves, a lot of guys have offices. I'm building a lair. Nobody has a good lair these days. Problem is, I just can't decide. In the water pit below the trap door, do I want to go with the piranha or the sharks with the laser beams on their head? It's a tough call. All right, let me know what you think. Look, stay healthy, stay focused, stay happy, stay safe, and most of all, stay connected. We'll get through this together. There's plenty of movies to watch. There's plenty of books to read. There's plenty of things to talk about. There's plenty of clothing article and fitness stuff and places that we can review and look and watch and share and discuss. So don't give up on that stuff. And send me an email if you have an opinion on the piranha and the sharks, man. Take care, okay? And everybody stay safe. And to quote Mr. Ray Krumpold of the Bond Armory, wash your damn hands. See you guys.
Hello, my name is Wilfred Piccarelli from James Bond Television, and I'm here to join Operation Stay at Home. Yes, guys, let's stay at home at this time of crisis, at this time of viruses, something that maybe Blofeld or Spectre just cook up in their laboratory. But all jokes aside, let's stay at home. I'm joining David Serisky from the Bond Experience, which I appreciate very much, asked me to do this video and say to you, the Bond community, were very, very passionate and very, very united, especially at this time of crisis.
Hi, Lee here from Sartorial Bond. We find ourselves in unprecedented times. Like most of the planet's population right now, I'm self-isolating, socially distancing and working from home. And as we face this global situation together, I do look forward to continuing to be a part of our online community. I've made some lifelong friends through this, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity to invest more time in those relationships. And I also relish the idea of making new friends along the way. Obviously, when I heard No Time to Die had been delayed, I was mortified for everyone, and I do mean everyone, except me. You see, I couldn't make it back to England in March due to work commitments, but I can make it back in November. So every cloud does have a silver lining, at least for me. So what am I doing in the meantime? Well, apart from my Macallan collection taking a massive hit, I'm currently saving an absolute fortune on soap and deodorant as I'm switching between day pyjamas and night pyjamas every day. No, but seriously, like many of you, I'm going to take this opportunity to revisit the original Fleming novels, as well as some of my favourite continuation novels and the superb Young Bond series by Charlie Higson. Now, if you haven't read those, do yourself a favour and get on it right now because they are fantastic. Finally, I want to give a huge shout out to David at the Bond Experience for everything he does. I look forward to joining you all at Operation Stay at Home. And, everyone stay safe, stay at home. And as Mallory so rightfully said, don't cock it up. Cheers.
Hello, Tom Sears here from James Bond Radio. I hope you are doing okay and not freaking out too much under the circumstances. Some things that I've been doing to pass the time and get through the whole situation is number one, wearing my pajamas all day and letting my personal hygiene take a bit of a nosedive. So that's always a lot of fun. And the main one is looking after this little nugget right here. Look at that face. Goodness me. Meet Pippa. She is a 13-week-old sausage, and she is equal parts adorable and a troublemaker. Look at that little punum and those little paws. Goodness gracious me. Mwah. But yeah, I'm going to put her down now because she's wiggling. But yeah, so she's keeping us busy. I hope you guys are doing all right and you're kind of managing things okay. What a weird situation. What a weird time to be alive, eh? But hey-ho, I am sure within a few weeks we'll be over the hump and slowly be coming out the other side. All right, guys, that's all from me. Tom Sears, James Bond Radio signing off. Take it easy. Bye.
Hello, Bond fans and everybody tuning in to Operation Stay at Home. My name is Benjamin Lind. I'm the editor of the BondBulletin.com, the website and the YouTube channel. And I'm outside with Lancelot, the hardest working horse in show business. Thank God in Germany we are allowed to go outside, 2 people at a time. Does not include horses, but they need to be trained, they need movement, they need medical attention for physics and ow. And Lancelot and I, we have an agreement, actually. Whenever he tries to bite me, or actually does bite me, I sing Another Way to Die. So there's your Bond influence. And if you don't know what to do at home, I can really recommend, if you have, get out the old N64, play a bit of Goldeneye. The other day I played The World Is Not Enough with my girlfriend. Hi, oh, that's so nice, thank you. I will be full of hair now. Ah, Another Way to Die. Da 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 da. And he stops. It's that frightening. Read some of the Ian Fleming novels. Read them all if you can. Watch the Bond films and prepare for No Time to Die. At the time of the postponement of the film to November, I thought all of this is not that serious. It's just like a flu, but people, it really is not. So if I can advise something to you, stay at home, stay safe, wash your hands. And really, the measures they are doing here now in Germany, they are working. This is something that we need to do right now, and we all need to pull on one string to make this virus go away. So I hope you will have a great time watching all the videos that we put out, all of David's videos, all of my videos, and being James Bond, everything you can find on YouTube. Watch it all, binge it all, to pass the time that you have to stay at home. Stay safe, people. Benjamin Lind of the Bond Bulletin signing out. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, I've also been asked what I've been doing with my time in this crazy period. Well, I've mainly been playing high-stakes poker games with my friends at home. Race. I'm all in. Okay, I'm all in. Hey guys, this is Jeroen, better known as Dutch Bond Fan on YouTube, and besides playing poker in these crazy isolation times, I've also been doing more productive stuff with my time as well. Not a lot of people may notice about me, but besides making videos, I've always been the creative type with drawing as well. And over the years, I've been working on a comic book adaptation of Ian Fleming's first novel, Casino Royale. Since this is my personal little project, I figured I may as well feature myself as Bond, and of course, add in a realistic situation I could find myself in. My plan is to get this adaptation as close as possible to Fleming's novel, but give it some tweaks here and there. I used the poker game like the movie instead of the baccarat, for example. My art is very cartoony and colorful, a little bit child-friendly, so I figured it did need to contain mature elements like violence, people smoking and subtle nudity to get a good representation of Fleming's world. I'm planning to distribute it in some shape or form among Bond fans interested when it's finished, but I'm still yet to figure out a nice way to do that. As of now, that's not on my mind yet, and it's just a fun little personal project. Anyway, Bond fans, hope all of you are safe and healthy and most importantly happy in these weird isolation times with this social distancing that we're currently living in. It's like living in a movie. It's like Blofeld unleashed a new COVID-19 virus on the world, but I like to think that somewhere out there, in the shadows, there's a secret agent surrounded by brilliantly hot girls, ready to save us all and unleash the vaccine to us all so that we can continue with our daily lives like we were used to. So hopefully that's a little bit of a comforting message because I know he's out there. So guys, stay safe.
Hello everybody, hello James Bond fans and James Bond friends out there. This is Andreas Pott, the chairman of the James Bond Club Germany, calling from Germany. David Zawitsky of the Bond Experience asked me to do a little video for you, and I'm happily to share this with you. Actually, I'm sitting here in my garden on a beautiful spring day here in Germany. That's why I am like you, most of you are stuck at home because of the coronavirus and doing some home office in my job. That's quite a privilege to have a home office with such a nice garden, and I'm thankful for that. I hope you can do your work in a nice surrounding too, or you are well, and so we can handle this all together. In fact, my work is not very different from the work I do in my office normally, so the time is filled with work the day over. A little break here for this now, and we all wait, of course, for news to the new James Bond movie, which is not so important at the moment, but we are James Bond fans and so we want to know these things too. There will be nothing happen very soon, I am sure. With No Time to Die, it is postponed until November. We have to fill the time with some other things around Bond. If I'm not at work, I have a little tip for you. I am reading a book at the moment. It's called Goldeneye by Matthew Parker. Maybe you know it. This is a German version, and I can highly recommend it because you have a very good insight to Goldeneye and to Jamaica and Ian Fleming's work and life there. And you know, No Time to Die will be on Jamaica, back on Jamaica too, and so this fits together very well. Yes, that's my little tip for you. That's a greeting from you from Germany. And now I think I will go back to my laptop, have my second cup of Earl Grey today and do some more damage. Be well, everybody. Stay safe, stay at home, and greetings from Germany. This is Andreas Pott.
You're expecting someone else? Hi, I couldn't resist doing that intro. I've always wanted to do that. Hi, my name is Frank Wilson, and I host a podcast called What's the Score? I've been a Bond fan since I saw Goldfinger in first run as a 7-year-old. Go ahead, do the math. Anyway, in times like this, I always find that film music is the thing that really helps me get through difficult times or times when I'm like waiting or bored. Times like now. I always go back to film music to help take me to some faraway place or on an adventure that helps get my mind off things that are going right now. So this show is a perfect thing for you to listen to if you're looking to get away. And for me, selfishly, it helps take my mind off things too by producing more of these shows. I think you'd like it. We have a guest on that's somehow connected to the film or TV community or the Bond community. And they get to learn, we get to learn a little bit about them, and we also get to hear some of their favorite scores, some of which will surprise you, some of which you won't recognize, and then, of course, some that you will. We've had guests like Lucas Kendall, who did the remaster on the James Bond scores in 2003, David Sariski of the Bond Experience, just to name a few. Joe Darlington is another one. So we have a Bond connection, but it's also broader than that. It's about film music from anywhere. So if you need a diversion, if you need to get away and listen to some great music and interesting conversation, come and join us. It'll take you away from all the craziness that's going on these days. That's about it. There's only one thing we'll have to say, and that's simply this. My name is Frank Wilson. My time's up. I thank you for yours.
Hey everybody, it's Harris Thomas from Dressing Like Bond. What an ordeal that we have found ourselves in, but hey, I'm just like you guys, stuck at home, working from home as best I can, and I'm still suffering from the no time to die postponement syndrome and trying to figure out what am I going to do for 8 months. But I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm reading Ian Fleming. I'm diving back into Fleming's Bond, just finished up Live and Let Die last night, and I'm about 3 chapters into Moonraker as we speak. Hey, look, we gotta stay positive. The movie's gonna be here, and quite frankly, November's gonna be here before we all know it, I think. But let's stay busy, let's keep talking to each other, and hey, don't forget to always have a drink in your hand, and speaking of hands, please wash your hands.
Hello everyone, Pete Brooker here from Tailors with Love. From Tailors with Love, the podcast that is all about the style of James Bond. I run that with my co-host, Matt Spacer, editor of the Suits of James Bond. So we're all self-isolating here now in the UK, big crackdown in my flat, entombed with my girlfriend, the cats, and Roger the cockapoo, who's asleep off camera there. And it's a very interesting time, so luckily I've got lots of habits and hobbies. I'm a voracious reader of the arts. I like to really throw myself into my studies, basically everything, history, so I'm actually keeping myself entertained, no problemo. And I guess also I'm to help pass the time, I've started a blog called No Time to Diary. Thank you. That's why I get the big bucks. And you can find that on the website from tailorswithlove.co.uk. It's just a way for me to pass the time, really. I like to think when people ask what did you do during the coronavirus outbreak, I can just send them a link. Just say, there you go, and move on. And anyway, well, I'm going to leave you now with a little snippet of what's to come on the podcast. Matt and I brainstormed a lot of content ideas, and I think you're going to look forward to listening to these, hopefully, over the coming months, whilst we're all looking to pass the time. And in the meantime, thank you, David, for keeping us all entertained, and everyone in the Bond community, just hang on in there. This will all blow over, and we'll all be talking about it on the red carpet, I'm sure. Well, we won't be on the red carpet, we'll be next to it, but we'll be talking about it next to it. I'll stop talking.
The golfing socks of Bond? Okay, how about what Bond would wear to a bris? In Judaism, when the baby is circumcised? How about what Bond would wear during that season when you don't really know if it's spring or summer, or how about if it's but you don't really know when autumn turns to winter, and what do you wear during that time? What season is it? How about we do a feature on the towels of James Bond? Well, there's the one in From Russia with Love where Bond takes off the towel and gets into bed with Tatiana. I mean, that's a beautiful towel, lots of drape. Roger's towels in Live and Let Die are some of the best towels, not just in James Bond, but in movie history. But you have to bear in mind also, they seriously upped the budget for Bond in the 70s, and that's very evident in the towels.
The wetsuits of Bond.
people would actually be interested in that one.
Okay.
I haven't done that one, but I don't know what to do about wetsuits, but people actually want to know that.
Hi guys, my name is Martijn or Martin Mulder, and I'm the author and webmaster of On the Tracks of 007. This year we're celebrating On the Tracks' 25th anniversary, but so far it hasn't been a very cheerful year.
I have released a virus.
The Netherlands is not on a lockdown. We're on what our government calls an intelligent lockdown, which is something like you are not supposed to go out, but if you want to, whatever. There's not so much traveling possible as I would like. Let me explain to you how I fill my days. So, since I'm self-employed, I'm used to working from home, so that's not really an issue. The only thing that I have to work around is that I'm no longer alone at home. The Dutch government has issued an emergency rescue plan which includes financial help for the self-employed. So I'm not really worried there either. Plus I've always a lot of things to do, so I'm sure I'll manage. Lots of work is currently coming from the cancelled Bond Week event. There's a lot of money involved, and fortunately, due to the circumstances, we managed to convince all parties involved, which are the trains, the buses, the hotels, to reschedule the event and to adapt the existing contracts accordingly. So all investments have been saved, and we aim to come back in November with the exact same event, surrounding the hopeful launch of No Time to Die. In the meantime, I'm working on several publications, exhibitions, posters, flyers, mostly non-Bond. So I hope to see you all soon, in good health, on a mission somewhere around the globe. So, take care.
Hi, this is John Clark from Haphazard Stuff. Occasionally I'll do video projects and write a little bit about James Bond. I'm home like everyone else. I've been doing a little spring cleaning, doing some reorganizing, and getting around to some redecorating that needed to be done. Basically just passing the time best I can. I hope everyone out there is staying healthy and staying safe. Take care.
Hello everybody, this is Markus Hackmann from James Bond Club Switzerland. As many others, I am at the moment grounded at home due to the outbreak of the new coronavirus. I have to admit, in the beginning it was not quite easy to accept this new challenge, if you may say so, with all its restrictions, but there's no other way to accept it. We all together in this one. During weekdays, I think it's essential to maintain the same ordinary routine. In my case, that means wake up at the same time, have a shower, shave, have a breakfast, and then I go to work. Only now, my office is right at home, and not in the company's office. The weekend, however, I try to do something nice, like read one of these many great books that I purchased a long time ago. I never really had time to read it, so I have to do it now, right? I think besides everything, we also have to see the good side in it, like Mother Nature finally gets a break, gets a chance to recover, and also for ourselves, we have a chance to recover from body, mind and soul. Important also, I think you have to work on your immune system while being at home. Always important, do that regularly, like me, you know. And trying to make the best out of the situation. Obrigado, amor. So, thanks for your attention. Stay safe. Stay at home.
I thought I would start off with a little joke. So I found this little ditty right here, and I think you'll like it. Why did the man who was infected with CB-19 not laugh at the joke? It flew over his head. You know, flew. You know what I mean? But FL, boy, these other guys, they really pulled out the stops on their videos, didn't they? I got up my game a little bit. I know what I gotta do. More like it.
Quiet on the set.
Scene 1, shot 15, 17, take 3. Scene 1, shot 15, 17, take 3. Close the door, guys.
Action.
Why did the man with COVID-19 not get the joke? It flew over his head. That's the good stuff.
That was amazing. First of all, thank you to everybody that contributed a video. Those take a lot of creativity and it takes time. And I know that people can say that we have no time to die and that we have plenty of time right now being isolated, but those still take effort. And I want to thank everybody for that particular effort and for allowing them to come into your home even for a few hours. And thank you for today. I mean, your family, your friends, your loved ones, they allowed you to play for a little bit, and we need those escapism moments. We have the opportunity. There's a challenge out there, of course, but we have the opportunity to come out of this even stronger than when we first came into it. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to take effort. It's going to take dedication, but I think we've got it in us. So thank you for that. There's a quote from Skyfall in Adele's song, "Together we will stand tall." And I believe together the Bond community will stand taller more than ever. So thank you for joining us today. This has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll of course see you real soon. Take care.